Belt buckles would be phenomenal.
Rodeo belt.
That's a rodeo city.
It could save our lives, Tim. That's what the movies always show me about badges.
Yeah, somebody goes to shoot at
You and I watch different movies.
You just
Surely not. I know you've seen those.
you need the lucky,
Catch the bullet.
you
and
need the
then-
lucky coin or the
Yeah.
Bible in your pocket. That works better every time.
Those two, yeah. It hurts a lot more on the Bible.
They shoot the sheriff's more often.
Those are the movies I watch.
That scene.
Somebody did a lot of work.
So that, you know, and keep the tires up.
We bumped a lot of stuff last week. So.
Did we?
Yeah, like the ordinance we didn't go over, and then I think there was just one more thing on the
numbers on the road. Are they good to go?
Now,
Yeah, so I'm supposed to
Good to
clear
know,
everything
'cause I
up.
need to change
I
my-
know.
So
Yeah, one of them I was like, I think they might want to.
Yeah, the one for transfer.
That ordinance.
They don't have numbers on
It's gonna be a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case I brought.
I know.
I was just going through them on my phone.
Okay.
We've got that in. We'll see. Oh, Brett. I was having Tuesday. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Annie?
Here.
Michelle?
Here.
Brett?
Here.
Jason?
Here.
And Tim.
Here.
I'd like to add two things to the agenda. If anybody else has anything, speak up.
I think Jennifer, I didn't get you on the agenda. I'm sorry. So I don't know. After
Under new business,
department reports, it's up. I'd say.
Can we put her before Robin?
Are you just doing one thing tonight?
That's fine.
Okay,
That way she can wait.
that's fine. I don't think she's gonna rush or anything.
What were your additions there, Terry?
under continuing council business, I'd like to address law enforcement for one. And then a 20-minute executive session for non-elected personnel after that.
How long?
20 minutes. Anybody else have anything?
Well, I move to approve as written with the 3 changes before anybody else has anything else.
Second.
Okay, a motion to approve the agenda as written with the addition of 3 items by Tim, seconded by Jason. Any further comments? Those in favor? That passes. Okay.
I move to approve the minutes from March 25th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th by Annie, seconded by Michelle. Any further comment? Those in favor? Those opposed? Those
We abstained.
abstaining? You're abstaining?
We weren't here.
Both of y'all are abstaining? Okay.
We can read them, but we can't verify them.
In our lovely video,
And you didn't get it.
decided
Yeah, the
to
video didn't finish.
Oh, it didn't work?
about
it's-
15 minutes in.
15
It's,
minutes.
yeah, it says it's an hour and a half long, but it only plays 15 minutes.
Yep.
Because I actually tried to watch it that night.
Okay, at this time, we're opening the floor for public
So,
comments.
aren't we on
Aren't
the
we on
appropriation
the-
Oh,
ordinance?
I guess we are.
Appropriation.
I went really down too far. My bad. Hang on to that.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 1518.
Second.
1518 or 1517?
Well,
It says 17.
Which one? are we doing?
which one are
So
we doing?
1518 is the correct one. I must have not changed it on
Okay.
the
All right.
ordinance that you have there.
Motion by Annie to approve appropriation ordinance 1518, seconded by Michelle. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Any further comment?
Yeah, I was wondering about the Mary Jane Finney item.
Okay.
What's that about?
It is hangers. I can actually do you have the receipts here. Hangers for at the bait shop is what was turned in.
This pegboard and hooks right next
Yes,
to it.
there you go.
I see that. I was just wondering, are we buying everything that goes in there now? Is that the new way we're moving forward?
Well, if we're buying it, we keep it when she's no longer running it. Be part of the inventory.
I'm assuming that she bought them for the pegboards that we already own, that we have in there. So she, I don't know, because she's not here. Is Julie here? No.
Well, it does say just pegboard hooks. The invoice said too.
Yeah.
Well, how much is it?
It's only $18, but it's
Still $18.
$18 this time. I just remember when we didn't own anything that's in there, and now we're buying everything in there.
Not at all.
Okay.
There are other things on there, but that was one.
Any discussion?
You want to see it?
I'm done.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, motion by Annie to approve appropriation ordinance 1518, seconded by Michelle. Those in favor?
Roll call.
It, we roll call.
Oh, yeah.
That's, Jesus,
Sorry, I distracted you.
that's okay. I already got you down. All right. Annie,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Now, public concerns at this point.
So is it working now?
The camera?
Lights on.
Lights on. It was on last week, that last time.
Well, it did. I
And I got to listen to you
Yeah,
and Julie, but after that, it kind of cut off. Yeah.
at least you got some entertainment.
Did you have something you want to say, Dolly?
No, sir. I just wanted to know that.
Is there anyone else here that has public comments or concerns?
It's on. We're good. Keep
Thank
checking.
you.
Okay, moving on. Park report. Jessica,
Jennifer.
Jennifer Kraus, is that right? Is that right?
You can come up here because the camera won't be able to hear anything. I mean, you don't have to be on it. Just
I'm Jennifer Kraus. I am a member of the park board along with Brett and Annie, and Carrie Warren is back here too. There are 6 of us in total. Tasha Rain and Amy Williams are our other 2. 2 years ago, we wrote a big grant to get Department of Revenue Community Service tax credits. We got $30,000 in tax credits. That was 70% matching to give away
42. I thought.
42. to give away that $30,000 in tax credits. So it was a huge deal for us. The city at that time pledged $5,000 towards that. We're asking that again tonight. It only comes to fruition if we get the grant again, so no guarantees. But they do ask for community support. So Annie's going to start sending out some, I don't know, messages,
Emails
Facebook
and
posts,
yeah,
emails
yeah.
to ask for
quick
community
methods.
support as well. So either letters of support or financial pledges that I can add to that grant. It's all due. The due date on the grant is April 30th. So I kind of need to know before then whether you guys are willing to pledge $5,000 again this time.
What's this grant for?
Same thing. You can ask again for the community. Oh, you mean what project
Yeah.
are we doing?
Yeah,
We
what,
don't know yet.
what do we want? to do?
Starting tomorrow,
Um,
I am going to contact a company out of Kansas City about a multi-surface court on the tennis courts. That's the bid I'm going to hope to get. We can honestly, if we had local contractors that were willing to give me bids on those 3 bridges, that's another option. I mean, I'm thinking in about that same price range. Last time we asked for money to put rubberized mulch on the playground. We didn't get that done. We still got all the money, but that turned into, we got the entry sign. We had several other projects that came up in between. So, and we still have a lot of that money we're holding on to. Annie will maybe talk to you a little bit about a CDBG grant. So we'll need matching funds for that. So right now we have a pretty good balance in our checking account, but those tax credits were a huge deal for us and very easy to get, to sell, I guess is the right word. I had no idea, but we got rid of them with no problem.
The great thing about him is that we had people that are not related to us in any fashion donating a large sum of money. So we
Because they got 70% back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the
businesses
part
that
we
need
didn't.
to
Yeah.
fix their taxes basically will give us $10,000 checks. So it takes the burden off everybody locally a little bit. Not that they don't donate; they do a great job, and we'll still be asking them, of course. But we
yeah.
get more funds.
People
for
found
this,
us, which
so.
we were shocked by. So
Yeah.
we're excited to apply again and just see. And I think that we have a pretty good chance just because we did use all our tax credits the first time. That was a big deal to them. They wanted to give away money to people they knew would use it. So
And the pledges up front help us secure those. tax
absolutely,
credits in
they
the
want to
first
see
place.
community support. That's it. That's my whole update.
So do we need a motion to award that?
Need for that.
Does anybody else have any input they want to add, or?
I'll ask that question after we get a motion.
Okay, I will move that we approve $5,000
Pledge,
pledge
basically. Is what you're saying.
for the city park grant process.
Where's the money coming from? Out of our 3% sales tax?
That's a 1% sales tax.
1%.
No, it'd be coming out of the general fund.
It'd be a general fund, yeah.
Well, it could come
Why?
out, it could come out the 1%.
Where did it come from last time?
General fund.
So is there a reason not to do it again?
That's what the sales tax is for the park.
Park and sidewalks.
But you'd have to designate.
For sidewalks
to
and
go
curbs.
to that entity because it doesn't right now automatically, right?
I don't think we've used the 1% sales tax for anything except for sidewalks and curbs because there's such a disarray that we need the
Yeah.
most amount of money that we can.
We're trying to keep that money there for those things. Because obviously I don't want to just spend it all in the park. We want to keep going up the street here too.
So do we need to designate where it comes from as part of the motion?
I think in
this
this
case,
instance, you
yeah.
probably should.
So where do we want it to come from?
I want to come from the 1%. Well, you're the motion maker. The motion maker makes the motion.
Then if we have a 1% sales tax that's designated for that, then I would amend my motion to say that it should come from the 1% sales tax.
And do we
So
have,
before you guys vote on that, do any of you have any idea what's in there? And with the bids that we just passed, if it's gonna cover
that was gonna be
with
my
that
next
decision?
question.
Before you make it, I'm just curious if any of you know that.
You can make a contingent upon funds being available in 1% sales tax after bids are accepted for a street
Yeah, once
project.
this is active too, I don't want to pitch into this, but once it's active, I can take the donation anytime in the next 18 months. So it's got time. to accrue. But it's not my favorite place for it to come from, I guess, is the point.
But that's, as I'm understanding in this discussion, that's what that 1% sales tax was for, yes?
It's for several things, yes, not
Several
just for
things, not
streets,
just for
not just for
this.
the sidewalks. It's for parks, sidewalks. And I can't remember exactly what all it said, but I read it
It's
last week.
curbs, sidewalks, and
And the park.
park, and
Yeah.
as I
So it
understood
would be the
just
appropriate
that part,
fund
but
for it to come from.
But the question is,
Do we have the money in that account?
have we already designated money from that 1% to go towards something else? If we've already designated that money, then whatever's left is all we can put towards this. That
Until
makes
we
sense?
accrue enough funds to
Yeah.
make it up,
I think we can do what Todd suggested, make it contingent on
fund availability.
fund availability.
I can clear that up and tell you that there's enough money for the $5,000 in there. I just wanted to know if they knew that before that they were gonna take it out.
Yeah.
That was my point. Was,
Okay,
do they have any idea?
Well, that was why I was asking in the first place.
so you're confident that the money we've designated for the sidewalks for this year is not gonna, with
Yeah,
this
I
other
think it's only
donation, is not
35.
gonna
No, 'cause
exceed.
it's 35 and there's 45 at least, pushing close to 50, 49.
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. We can
Treasurer's report,
delay the
It's
donation.
on the
It is
treasurer's
the
report.
third line.
This is just a pledge form at this point.
Right.
She put in the balance. So the ending fund balance as of 10/31, it looks like it's 66,000 in the city sales tax.
So then it would appear that the funds are available.
Mhm.
So we
Okay.
can move forward.
So we made the motion.
Repeat your motion, please, so we get it written down.
So
right.
I would move that we provide the $5,000, what was it,
$5,000
pledge
for the tax credit.
for the tax credit grant to be taken from the 1% sales tax fund
The amount of,
in the amount of 5,000.
I second it.
okay, we have a motion on the floor by Jason to pledge $5,000 for the park board to use out of the 1% sales tax. Seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Could you write me a pledge form for that so I can turn that in with my application?
Okay.
Those
thank you.
opposed? Okay, motion passes 5-1. 4-1, sorry.
Thank you guys.
Did you vote in favor?
Yeah, I voted.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's fine.
Kelly knows what's up.
Okay, next up is Robin Baker and 262 Ponderosa Point.
You guys haven't played probably.
We have them in here, maybe, Robin.
I don't think I have any pictures.
We have some.
Just an
But
application.
what, yeah, and what they're wanting to do is actually tear this down and put in a 20 by 24. Just what? No, this is for, which one are we on?
262
Right,
Ponderosa.
right. And this just for 20 by 24.
It's only a
You're
one
too
sheeter. We don't have pictures for that one. So it should be right after your appropriation
Yep.
ordinance.
Right there.
What's your view of it, Robin?
I would think it'd be something not to right now. It's oversized.
The current one's oversized,
Correct.
and they're gonna replace it with one that's
20
current.
by 24.
Sidewalk is all legit and everything
Um,
that goes to it.
yeah, at the very bottom, there is one board that's a little long. It's over 4 foot. The majority of it's good.
Is there a break in the handrail?
That's the next question.
Well, when you get to the bottom, the very bottom.
It's like a weird.
Yeah, they have
That's
kind of a double layer.
Oh,
2 walkway, like one to the gazebo and one to the house.
So there's not a break in the handrail?
There, Tim, like when, I mean, you're basically at the shoreline, you know, you can get through there, but no, there's not.
You said gazebo, is that on city property?
I talked to the homeowner tonight and she's claiming it's not. She said she has copies of previous surveys. But the owners before had a hard time with the property lines or something.
I thought when we did,
But I really, it doesn't look like they are, Brett, on city property.
No, I think she just printed a couple. Did you just print pictures up of those? Yeah. And these look like cement studs. This is the one we're doing now.
Those are spin steps, but I think the ones actually going down are
You got
wood.
it, Julie?
they're hard to tell.
It is hard to
Can I
tell.
have one of them?
Well,
No, they're wood.
That's wood.
Oh, didn't I?
Looks like
Did
a
you
wood.
want-
That's wood
Oh,
there,
I'm sorry.
or it's really
Here,
nice
I'm
to
holding on
concrete.
to it.
Yeah,
Are you satisfied with the breezeway, Tim?
Oh, did I read that?
no,
No. He-
But-
Did
I'll
you
move
just
to
send them
approve,
you?
Except
260.
somewhere, a lot, are they here
262.
today?
I'll have 262 and 4.
That's
No,
all you need.
okay, they're not here. They're not here, Robin,
Do you need one?
the people.
no, I just think there's commotion.
I thought she,
I'm gonna move to approve with, just make sure that they, put a break in the railway for the travel across.
Ideally, I'd like to see the breaks right where the property lines meet, city and private. But I know every yard's gonna be a little bit different. That's just my point of view.
I'll second.
I have a question on that then. If the break, can the break be right at the bottom coming up to the dock? Or does the break have to be not on the stairs going down? Cause then you have the potential for a fall, but can the break be right at the very bottom where it flattens out between that and the dock? Or where does that break need to be if it does get approved?
We don't have any thing declaring that at this time.
Well, rather than going down, I guess it could put a gate, but then that's just another cost for the owner. And then another potential, you don't have a handrail to grab a hold of, so as long as there's just an opening to walk through on city property, that's the main goal, right?
That's the main goal is, and also to have that opening inviting. If it's the last step before you get onto the dock, it's not very inviting for somebody traveling across the shoreline.
Gotcha. Yeah, right now the handrail goes down to basically you can, well, I couldn't skinny through there, but somebody could, so.
And a
but that
gate,
will move
a
out
gate
little
in
bit
my
there.
mind is not an opening.
What's that?
A gate is not an opening.
Got it.
Are you
Okay.
doing the work for?
Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody's got a bunch of fishing poles, one hand tackle box or cooler in the other, they don't want to fool with a gate.
Gotcha. Yep.
I mean, I know the likelihood is low, but still, we should make sure that it's available.
Well, there'll be room at the bottom where it flattens out because you're going down them steps and then next thing you know, you don't have a handrail and somebody trips, so. But there will be room at the bottom. When that whole boathouse comes out,
this should be the next one.
because it's way oversized.
Brett, you want to repeat your motion, please?
I move to approve contingent that they put the opening in the handrail. I don't know what I wanna call it, a breezeway.
That's what we've been calling it.
Seconded
By me.
a motion to approve the structure permit at 262 Ponderosa Point contingent on the handrail opening being provided by Brett, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? It's approved. Next up, 11 Rocky Ledge Road.
This is Russell Torrey, the man that owns it.
Are you applying for an extension?
They already paid for one.
I was hoping the builder would be done over a 2-year project.
Were you the builder?
No, no. But he didn't. We got 2 doors to hang. The dock's done, but 2 doors just to put on, and that's pretty much it.
And Brett, did you have a question on that walkway going to the top in the deck?
Well, the deck would be in another structure, but that is stairs to the top, so.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was going to put a landing down there, guys. But he did. I thought he was going to tie it into the stone, but he didn't. So if I got to pay a few extra bucks, so be it, or whatever you think.
I'm confused. This isn't yours, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, this was handed to me.
Mine's pretty much done. It's just that I got a couple doors to put
This is the
on.
2-story with a rail around the top,
Yeah.
right?
There you go. Yeah.
My question is, from the base to the top of that rail, are we under 12 foot?
I measured it tonight.
I think we went by all the specs because she was out
We
here
have 2 gangways that go to it.
watching. So
Yeah.
inspected. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my third question, do we normally charge somebody the fee just for an extension?
I don't think so. I thought we didn't.
So the extension is normally you do give it 3 times, 6 months,
Mhm.
6 months, you get it, 6 months, 6 months.
Mhm.
With this one, it was over. So I collected the
Oh.
fee, but if it's refundable, we can just refund
And
it.
I think we paid the fee and we're fine with that.
You get
Darcy,
it from
did
the
you pay the
contractor,
fee?
are you?
Yeah. No, I sandblast and paint, and I hired somebody to do that out there, and it's just been a kind of a couple-year deal. I hired a young kid, and so give him a chance to build the dock, you know, and
Did a good job.
That looks nice.
we hope so.
Looks like anyway.
Any further comments?
Russell, is there a, what I hear about a
Keep it
Go
on.
back. Show you the picture.
patio or, a deck or something?
Right in front of the stairs that go to the
He
top.
put a landing
Oh, I
down
see.
at the bottom of the stairs. And that was done. And it's open, you know, so.
Right. I'm good.
I move to approve your extension. Do we need a approval for that?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Okay, motion by Annie to approve Russell and Darcy Torrey's extension application, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Passes 5-0.
Hey guys, I'm going to tell you that I said I'd be down here to blast this mausoleum a year ago, and we haven't made it yet. It's still on my agenda. Okay, so
Okay.
FYI. So
Right. Thank you.
okay, you
Yep.
bet.
Appreciate it.
You
Thank you.
bet. Thank you.
Take care.
You bet.
Okay, next up is 440 East Flint Hills Drive. Dr. Kubiak.
Oh, yeah, we tabled this thing from the last meeting.
I'm on your,
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Come right in here. Come right in here.
Mayor Cook, if it's okay with the council, I'd like to kind of repeat some of the things that I said at the last meeting because the technology wasn't working. And I think it's important for
Sure, go ahead.
Eskridge residents and like residents to,
Sure.
to kind of hear the backstory. So if you don't mind. In 1996, after my sister and brother-in-law bought and restored a cabin on Lake Wabunsee, Tony, who is sitting back in the most comfortable chair of course, and our 4 kids and I fell in love with the lake. At that time, we decided to invest in our own lake retreat and bought the land and fishing cabin at what is now 440 East Flint Hills Drive.
After a time, we had the block cabin torn down and one builder from Topeka construct our home lake house retreat. And that was 28 years ago. We have so many family memories that we recount whenever our whole family gets together. We love Lake Quincy, and it's certainly part of our family history. We knew that our property stopped at the top of a steep decline to the lake, and the property from that point to the lake was owned by the city of Eskridge. But we still got city permits to improve the property, and consequently, we chose to have this area cleared of brush, leveled and planted. We had native stone steps laid. We planted 2 huge perennial beds and had a boathouse and a boat dock built by road. This project was a big one at great cost to us. We wanted to enhance the beauty of the property, not only for us, but for people who would see it from the lake. Throughout these 28 years that we've been out here, we've tried to be good neighbors. We've introduced the lake to a lot of people, some of whom have bought properties here. About 6 years ago, my husband retired, and we decided to rent our property out since our kids all have families of their own and aren't able to get to the lake as much as they did before. We had, of course, paid the city dock fees for those many years. I did a search through my records for the years beginning with 2020. In 2020, the fee for the boathouse and the dock was $390. In 2021 and 2022, they went up to $1,000. When I received the statement from the city on December 2023 for fees totaling $1,150 for an oversized dock and outer structure, I asked for the public officer to check our dock to let me know for sure what the other structure was, thinking it was probably our boathouse. And then I paid the $1,150 fee before the deadline. I was surprised around March 13th when I received a letter from the city concerning offending structures at 440 East Front Hills Drive. It stated this: you currently have a dock and shed on city property, which you pay for. However, I've noted 2 patios and a lamp post, which you have not been charged for. The annual fee that is now due and payable for these additional structures is $1,725, which is $575 per structure. Because we're one of 5 owners at the lake who have chosen to rent our houses out, instead of the $195.50 that other lake owners pay per structure, we're being charged $575 for each of our structures. Now, in addition to the $1,150 that we've already paid, 3 months into this year, we're being charged another $1,750 on structures that have never been mentioned in the 28 years we've lived there. Mayor Cook, last time we met, you tabled our situation because your attorney wasn't here. I'm asking that you table consideration until our attorney, who is out of town on business, can be here tonight. So I'd like counsel to be here to talk to your attorney. So I'd like you to table this.
Who's your attorney? It's not that.
Wade Carr.
Okay. Never heard of him.
I don't have a problem with it, guys. Do you?
So I don't have a problem with that.
No.
I'll move to table this to the next meeting.
But before we table it, you do have 2 extra patios though, correct? It's on our shoreline that you utilize and that you have not been paying for,
I
correct?
wouldn't call them patios. You know what? I really don't want to get into it. I'll wait until our attorney's here.
Well, I wanted it to be heard just like you, so I just, if you had 2 patios, then you have 2 patios. If you have a light post, you have a light post.
I will
Well,
wait
just-
until our attorney comes.
Yeah, just so I'm on tracking with you, what I see in these pictures, I see the shed. I guess is that a shed?
They're paying for that.
And then the over dock / covering is a dock. That's the second.
Mhm.
Those are the 2 things that were charged and paid before.
Mhm.
So we have the cement kind
So that's what they're calling 2 patios.
of, that's one patio, but there's also a bench or a
Picnic table.
picnic table and gravel. Is that gravel?
Right.
surface?
There's
It's a
another.
gravel surface.
Okay.
That's up at the top of the hill, and that was a fire pit, which we had taken out because the neighbors felt it was too dangerous. So that's simply a
Well, it's
gravel
on,
area.
it's on several city property there, right?
I don't believe that is on city property. That's at the top of the hill. I thought cars started where the rocks were. Once again, Mayor, could I have a table until our attorney can be here?
Well, once the proposal's made and seconded and voted on, yes.
Todd, so you see what we're saying?
Well, I guess I'm just trying to place now the,
Right here is a patio.
yeah, well,
Do you want,
Here is a
here's
patio.
the
do you want to
map.
wait for the next meeting or the one after that?
I have to get two dates
I
and see
based that
when
on
he
the
can come, if that's okay.
I'm just looking at the map.
That's fine. We can
Right.
table the next meeting and then if she's not here.
The property
We can
line's
move it
pretty
again.
much right against the house. It's not.
Right. So
So
that
it's-
fire pit that they took out, that actually is city property as well,
Right here
from
somewhere?
my
Or-
research.
Okay, I can't get any closer in the area than that.
So are you questioning the number of structures or the fees? What are you questioning?
The number of structures and the fees.
And the fees.
Okay. Yeah, I got an idea, so I'm good.
Also, I would like to clarify too, that you said that you pay 500 instead of the 190 or 95 that the rest of them pay, but you rent your property out. So as you're making a profit on your property, you're using everything else that everybody else is paying for, and that's getting you profit. That's why you guys pay more.
No comment. I'll wait until our attorney's here.
I'll
Thank
second the table.
Okay, who made the motion? Jason?
Jason.
Joseph, Jason made a motion to table 440 East Flint Hills Drive to April 22nd.
Okay, could I let you know
And
right
sec-
away?
and seconded by Annie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're not here next meeting, we'll table it again. So don't worry about that portion of
I'm
it.
sure one of those.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know both of the dates for the next two meetings. It's always the second and the fourth Monday.
Okay.
I don't know where we are on the. calendar.
Well,
Might
May
be
would
enough.
be May
So-
13th. It'd be May 13th, April 22nd, then May 13th, then May 27th is the order.
Okay, so it's the
Second,
second.
second.
I'll check. And then
We're
should I
tabled till next,
Meeting
or
already.
call Kelly.
Okay,
Call the
Lake's
city
not on
office
this
if
one.
you guys can't make it and put it on the agenda.
Okay, that's great.
As such.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you take the vote?
Yeah, we did. I thought we voted.
No, we didn't vote.
All right, those in favor? Okay, it passes 5.
No, I'm opposed.
Okay,
You're opposed?
Yeah.
Okay.
4-1. All right.
Not really. Like, I don't know why we're getting into them when we already know the answer. You have it there. You pay for it. Period.
Okay, next up is 423 East Flint Hills Drive, McBay to Barley Boys Investing Transfer.
That is, it's good to go. It's a standard dock with one walkway going down. The breezeway on this one is a little steep, real steep.
It looks like the whole area is really steep.
It is. So they can almost walk under it. I don't know how you're gonna work that one, but
Ooh,
And all we have is the survey.
no, she passed out the pictures. 423, or the other set of pictures she passed out.
Here.
423.
Do you have a survey?
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry?
We do
Yes,
have a
right here.
survey?
It's in the book.
Page one.
Right here. Didn't it?
it does need numbers on it, but I think I discussed that with you.
Is this a tier 2 or 3 property? What is
This
this?
one.
No, it's
It's a tier
Survey.
1.
yeah.
This one.
And they don't have any, doesn't look like any sheds.
Nope.
Well, they couldn't on that.
No.
steep incline.
I was gonna say, what do you?
I'll move to approve a transfer from McVeigh to
Are they brothers?
Barley Brothers.
So they changed the name that it's going to, and Cindy gave me the information. The new name is BBI Vacation LLC.
I was still second.
Is that similar to what we just
Is
tabled?
this a Airbnb?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
They'll be disappointed if they think it's gonna be.
They have to get approval through the county, not through us for that.
I think they've already got 10 out there, so they're not.
They have 9 out there, don't they?
One of
It's
5
fewer than
owners.
that. There's room for.
Do we have,
additional.
okay, I couldn't remember if we were that fully in or not.
No, not anymore.
Goodness, he is way ahead of you here.
He's way ahead of us.
Okay, I thought there was room. This also says that the numbers are missing on the sides of the dock. So do you guys want to consider that in your motion?
I discussed it. They're gonna make sure that they put them on
Okay.
the front.
I don't think there's any need, just make sure you go back and check that they put them on.
Okay, motion by, was it Brett made the motion to approve this transfer?
Yeah, second.
Seconded by who?
I did.
By Tim.
Or Tim did.
Motion by Brett to approve the
know.
transfer at 423 East Flint Hills Drive, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, approved, 5-0. Okay, Aspen, you're up next.
Oh, there you are.
I am once again asking that the kennels be repaired. I have pictures. That's the door of each kennel at the bottom has been mangled.
You putting rhinos in there? Or what?
Pit bulls. That's so. The dog that broke the left kennel, like really did a number on it. Was registered to us as a boxer, and he was not a boxer. So, he pit bull mix of some kind, like pit bull and boxer, for sure. Boxer, like not a boxer. So I now know where he belonged, but initially because he wasn't registered as the correct dog, I didn't know that it was him. But so I just like to get those fixed at the bottoms so they're good and secure and the dogs can't get
You
out.
showed me this afternoon, you showed me the left kennel where the latch hooks in. Is that also broken?
It's just I just need the right wrench to tighten it up or loosen it, turn it, tighten it on both of those.
Right.
So that's just a matter of getting the right tool.
Okay.
But the bottom parts I can't fix on my own. So. And then I am proposing that I keep a few office hours through May and June to help with registration. Last year we had a lot of complaints that City Hall was closed when people got home from work or if they were off on the weekends. So for May and June, it would only be a total of 9 hours every other weekend and every other Tuesday evening for an hour. Just to give people the opportunity to come in after work or, you know what I mean, on the weekends if they need to.
Okay. And let me ask you this: when is the community rabies vaccination thing scheduled for?
April 13th.
April 13th. Are you going to be available to work then?
Yeah.
As well. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is that doing it again?
Jenny.
Oh, she is doing it.
She is. After the last meeting, she reached out to me and said that she was doing one in Harveyville if we wanted to jump on and have her do one here. So I said, sure, let's do it. Let's knock it out.
Excuse me, can we register at that time?
Yep, absolutely.
So you just publish your hours?
Yes,
so that
and
people
so
know?
this is tentatively what I came up with. June could change depending on my daughter's softball practices and or schedule. But it really is, it's just every other Tuesday and every other weekend alternating for an hour. I put 5 to 6 on Tuesday evenings and 1 to 2 on the Saturdays and Sundays. But again, I'll know more on where I can adjust those hours.
Aspen, you have the ability to put that on our city's website.
Yes. Sure
Kelly
do.
does.
Through Kelly. I take it.
I think that's a great idea. I think people
Yeah.
would appreciate it.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, last year we got some feedback that it was just hard to get in here and get it done. I didn't know.
Not everybody
Aspen,
works.
is this in addition
A lot of people work
to
9
the
to 5.
current 15 hours that you're allowed?
But she's not working 15 hours.
No, it would,
So we don't need a motion. If she's
and
not
I'm
working 15
actually
hours.
allowed 20 hours a week.
Okay. All right.
but no, I don't think that it would put me into over 20 hours of
And
by any
you don't need
means.
an approval from us, so you're okay. to do
Okay,
that.
perfect.
Just like you said, get with Kelly, get the information on the website.
Absolutely. And then my last thing is I would like to revisit getting me a phone, a city phone. What I've been doing is running with a Google Voice app on my personal phone. And it's okay. It works sometimes, but a lot of times I will get a call and I won't know it's a call about a dog. There was a guy that kept calling me and it kept coming up as spam because he was calling from a landline. So when I went to call him back,
Times have changed.
it was like suspected spam. Are you sure you want to make this call? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the guy that left me a message. I don't know. So, and I would really like it also to be able to keep track of what is city calls and messages versus what is my personal stuff in order to be able to track my hours and my time outside of here.
Well, if we got your phone, it'd have to be separate from your personal number.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And
it
that's,
shouldn't be-
this one is a different number. The way the Google Voice app works is when they call the 380 number of mine, it redirects it to my personal cell phone number. So that's why it rings through just like I'm getting a call on my regular phone. So I don't know if it's
Without her having to share her personal phone.
spam or if
Have
it's,
you
you know.
inquired with anyone yet about cost of that sort of thing?
No,
Phone?
no.
I think she needs one anyway, but there's all kinds of phones that we can use.
You
Well,
should
and
get one that's pretty efficient for like $35 a month.
Oh yeah. And I don't need anything but to call and text, you know.
Sure.
But then that way I know I can look at the time I've spent on a phone call. I can look at how many messages I've sent. I can, you know,
Sure.
look at how many voicemails I've had to listen to, stuff like that.
Got you covered.
So do we need a motion for her to get a phone, or do we need her to get some research on
Either,
it?
either make the motion to get a phone or make a motion for the research and get back with her.
I say get a phone and make
Yeah.
it up to $35.
Per month. Is that what you're saying? 'Cause there's just different
Yeah, give her
options. Are you
permission
thinking
to
like a
go get a
prepaid
phone
type
and she
thing?
can spend up to $35 a month.
Should
on a
we,
plan to do
should
it.
we get that phone in the city's name?
We probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because then if it needs to go to somebody else after I'm not
Right.
here, then you.
It would be
you
great
know.
to have a dog catcher phone.
Absolutely.
We all agree with that one. Yeah, it does get obnoxious because everybody's like, "Who do I call? What do I do?"
Will you make the ringtone be like a dog barking?
Who let the dogs out?
I like that one better.
A little animal print. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
So I would make a motion that we acquire a phone for the dog catcher.
Who's we?
The city.
Kelly.
You need to be specific.
The city of
You don't
Eskridge
give it a
proposes
name. You guys get together, pick a
One of the permanent employees.
I'll second.
Repeat the motion so I understand how it reads.
Jason moves to approve getting a phone for the dog catcher for up to $35 per month. Correct?
Sounds good.
Seconded by Brett. Any further discussion?
I don't know anything about burner phones. Do you have to pay a certain amount to get the phone and then it's $35 a month?
Kelly's
Yeah.
gonna look into that.
Okay.
Right
I
now.
would
Because if we're
assume
only
you would have to
approving-
purchase the phone.
That's what I would think
and
also.
then
If
pay
we're only
the-
approving
Like the Walmart.
$35 a
What's our
month,
budget on the phone, or do we
and
just
then
do
give
that?
us a phone.
I don't know.
It might get us one on a 3-year contract. Depends who you go through.
Get the phone for free for.
And then you
yeah.
make payments, yeah, for.
I love condoms. I bet you do.
Can I make a suggestion? I got mine at Walmart. It works out here. It was $198, $35 a month. Simple.
Something like that.
So
That sounds fabulous. I think my dad had the same thing for his company phone before he retired.
He's still.
We have a
So
motion.
you want to amend your motion up
Yeah.
$250 to acquire a phone and $35 for the plan.
Yes.
How much to acquire?
Up to $250 to acquire the phone.
Oh, we just went for
Up to whatever's
They're not quite as
cheap.
cheap as they used to be.
No, they're
Well,
Only
maybe
for
I'll be able to
texting.
send emails too.
That'd be nice.
so.
Okay, we have a motion, yeah, to provide, the city provide a phone for the dog catcher. To spend up to $250 to acquire the phone and up to $35 per month usage.
Right.
By Jason, seconded by Brett. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that motion passes. Looks like we'll get you a phone.
Awesome. And that is all I had.
I have something before you leave. When I was at City Hall the other day, I spoke with Aspen for a little while, and according to how I'm processing it, she stops into City Hall every day and she clocks in, goes and feeds and waters the dog. Probably cleans out a little bit, but usually she's only here for 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. She comes back here at night. She's doing that all week long for $10, 7 days a week.
On top of her being a like kind of an on-call position, and I think Clayton falls under this as well, where they can get a phone call anytime. They can't clock in for that phone call and clock back out again. That's a recorded after the fact. So I think there's some difficulty, and I thought previously, like with Sally, didn't we have them round up to an even amount, 30 or an hour or something, up to XYZ? I can't remember, but I feel like we didn't do any 5 or 10 minute work periods because that was
Right.
not really a fair shake, especially for feeding a dog every friggin' day.
Twice a day.
And
It's
then,
like twice a day, 7 days a week is just over $10.
right. So it's,
So
I mean,
that's
like
not-
maybe like a minimum of 15 minutes, even if it only takes her 5 to come in, and or what do you?
I feel like, what did we do with her? I can't, my brain is, I feel like we did that with Sally. Like she had a
You did round it up.
round up her
feel like
minimum
For the
hours.
first
the
hour, I
minimum-
believe, and
What
I
was
think
that?
any
the
time,
minimum
if
we
I
should do
remember
is a half hour. that
reading
she's gonna
correctly, right, any amount would, for the amount that she worked, it would be an hour. If it was 5 minutes or 15 minutes, she would get paid an hour. That's what I understood when I was reading the minutes.
Right.
And that was what we gave Sally.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, at least 30 minutes, but yeah, I think it's not very fair for her to like interrupt her day and then have to deal with phone call. Like, and then obviously chasing down dogs and whatnot, but it's, 5 minutes on a phone call is a lot more of an inconvenience than it seems because she's doing a lot more after that as well. And I know that we've done that previously.
And I'm just finding it difficult to track the time that I spend dealing with city business when I'm not clocked in, like when I haven't actually come in and punched my card.
I think as far as the on-call, why would she not just record him by hand instead of punching the clock? Like that seems
Which is what I
excessive.
used to do when I first started. I recorded all of my time cards by
I
hand.
mean, 95% of your stuff is not here.
Correct.
That was when the
All the
time
time.
card machine was supposed to be broken, but it was fixed.
I don't know. I was.
So I just don't think it makes
But,
sense for her to
but
clock.
she's right, and Annie's right. If she gets a phone call, she's not down here getting that phone call at City Hall, so she
No.
can't clock in when she gets a phone
Right. So she's losing
call.
time.
We've
because
got
of
her.
this.
If we get her a phone, the phone's going to record that time.
Yeah, and that was part of my point about
Yeah.
is being able to track it.
Yeah.
And then she could send a text message when she's done with whatever work, and that would be the identifier of when she's done with that.
But she's not
And now we
working
have-
inside our hours
I know that.
either.
I know that, but she can send a text message to whoever and
To her own phone.
to her own phone, and it just says done with city business at this time. And now you have an accurate track.
Well, and that's part of it too.
the phone
'cause
call when it starts.
It's difficult for me to write down 3 minutes here, 5 minutes here,
Right.
answered several messages. Like this person messaged me 17 times throughout this day, and that, you know what I mean? And
Right. Which again, if you're texting someone, that time should roll up because that's a lot more time back and forth, even if it's over a 8-hour window.
yeah. And it's just,
It's a lot of interruption to your day.
I would like to
I've
see
done
them
that, and
getting
it
paid
takes a
a
lot.
dollar or a dollar. Not a dollar.
Dollar per
an
text
hour
message.
to be stopping here and taking care of the dog. And I mean, if we can't consensus that at the bare minimum, a half an hour, because I
Yeah.
mean, that's disrupting to somebody's day twice a day.
I know several jobs that roll up at least 15 minutes, but I think 30 minutes to an hour would be best for her because of the way that job works. She's interrupted a lot more than the rest of us, I think.
So I'm going to start with proposing it to be an hour when she stops.
I agree with that.
Are you making a motion? She's seconding you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Repeat your motion then.
The motion is that she locks in when she comes here to feed the dogs for an hour, and then at that evening she's getting another hour to stop in here and take care of the dogs. So 2 hours a day as long as we have the dogs in the kennel.
It's 14 over 20 hours just to stop here and take care of the dogs.
And right now, are you putting in more than 6 hours a week?
No.
So that's accumulating up to the 20. That was going to be my next question, Tim, because if she's still not accumulating, if she's still under what it is anyway that we've allotted for her to have.
So if I have a dog in the kennel, I'm spending about an hour all told over 7 days to take care of the dog. If you figure it takes me 5 minutes to come in and feed and water him. Now, when I come in and clean the kennel, dump and rinse his water bowl, stuff like that, it might take me closer to 10 or 15. But for the most part, when I'm stopping in here just to feed and water, it's like 5 minute stops.
But that's also 7 times she has to come up here. That's
14
14
times
14, excuse
in
me.
a week.
14 times she has to come up here and take care of that at the same time.
And the fees for that time is going to be transferred onto the dog owner, correct? Isn't that how we operate?
I would,
Yeah.
yeah,
Theoretically.
yeah.
Has that
Right,
happened?
Todd?
Well, yeah, if they're prosecuted.
But before,
That
we
has
charged them.
It's done through me.
Basically, just food's all we charge them for.
No,
we
we
have a fee.
yes,
Wasn't it
we
25 or
that's the city fee, and then we also charge them the cost of, we'll call it room and board, which we calculated as my pay and the food. And we've done that twice when we have adopted dogs. We have asked the people that adopted them to pay all that.
But have the owner's been charged that this time?
No.
They've been billed.
No, because on those 2 occasions, there were no owners to.
Well, I'm talking about this time.
For this dog?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
they've been billed for it.
No, will be.
Okay.
That's the info that you asked me for last time, and I'm having a hard time tracking down who they are and what their address is and where they live. And it's like they dropped off the face of the earth. So,
There's your answer.
well, yeah, but yes, our animal code says if your dog is impounded and you come
I'm
get
aware
it,
what the rule is. I
you
want to
have
know
to
if it's
pay that.
actually happened.
Not as of yet, no.
So one other thing you need to do is send them a certified letter at the last known address to see if the post office has a forwarding address on it.
I don't even have a last known address.
You don't know
Because
whether we're here in Eskridge?
Nope, because the person that I know whose name that I have is not affiliated with any address here in Eskridge at all. So Kelly has helped me with a couple of addresses that I thought might be them because of the house that I thought he had told me he lived in. But the address is a house over here that no one has lived in for years. And so Kelly and I thought that it could be the other 2nd Avenue Street situation. And that's a woman named Amy Leach, something like
could
that.
be. I know first name was
Can't
Amy, but I
remember.
don't remember the last name.
Which is not the name of the person who came for the dog. It was a man. And so I'm still, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. But in the meantime,
husky that's out there, are those people getting? Do they pay a fine for having the husky? in the
no,
kennel?
because I didn't actually impound the husky. she came and got it immediately. So no, I didn't plan to charge them for that.
Yeah, time invested, right?
I mean, I was here already doing other things, but I guess, yeah.
I think what we're looking at is to maybe that needs to start happening.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. But I agree. Yeah.
Why did we adopt 2 dogs?
The owners declined to take them, and
No.
oh no, were they lost?
2 of them. So I guess we've adopted 3 dogs. A while back, a man passed away, or not passed away, got sick, left his house, and called the city and asked if he could relinquish his dogs to the city.
John.
Yes, so we did. Within, I don't even know how long, a couple out in the country adopted them. So they paid the $75 plus the $25 plus the room and board, whatever. And then the other one was the one that we had gotten right here. The name on the property was Mike Bennett. We sent certified letters. I have all of that. They never got them. And we ended up adopting that dog out to the Portzers that live back here. And that was the one that just attacked the guy from the home and was put down. So those are the dogs that we have adopted. And then this one.
When you said adopted, I thought you meant the city adopted.
Oh, no.
Placed.
I did. I was like, what?
Placed.
I thought you were saying the city took a dog that somebody didn't want. Because I don't want to be in that business.
We
at
needed
all.
a fire department dog, and now
If
it's
somebody doesn't want their dog, this is not where you bring it.
Before Aspen.
Do what?
I mean, the technical term is
Justin
placed. for,
adopted a dog before you were the dog catcher.
I need to ask a question. Didn't we have a motion on the floor?
We did. We got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Wedding
Wedding
sidetracked.
sidetrack.
Her an hour to stop in here to take care of it.
Are we just doing that? I mean, what about the phone calls and stuff? Because at this point, if she doesn't have a dog to take care of, she's still being underpaid.
I think she's going to be able to manage. If we get
Track
her a
of it.
phone, she's going
Okay.
to be able to keep track of that time much better than from her personal phone.
Whereas the motion will take care of taking care of animals that are
Right.
impounded in the kennels.
Understand.
And hopefully it would only be in there for 3 days.
Hopefully.
Well, my concern is if we're putting all this, I don't have any problem giving you the dollar each time. I mean,
Our
the dollar. The hour each way and all of that stuff, provided all that's getting charged to the dog owner. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And we actually see the money come out of it, not just some rule written on a piece of paper.
Long way to go from where you start today. Money in the bank for those people.
You're teaching me that, Todd, the hard way.
I know.
All right.
And I want you to think of it first.
I got a second, right?
Who seconded?
I'll second.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Did you, Michelle?
I
Second
thought
that?
Michelle did, and that's
I
why
thought I
we were
did.
having a
Go
discussion.
ahead, honey.
At this point, I have no idea.
Give it to Annie.
My memory just.
You know they get paid for every motion and seconded, don't
This would be a lot faster meetings.
you? Yeah. Motion
We'd roll this.
Motion by dog catcher, 2 hours per day to take care of dogs that are in kennels, in the city kennel.
No, that's not how I really worded it. About 2 hours a day, an hour per time she has to stop.
Yeah, which is twice a day.
Right. But
Not
I would prefer
always do
to
I get in
read
here
and
twice a
say that she's getting an hour every time she's stopping to clean the dog
Tend to
crap
an animal in a
and
kennel.
whatever else out of the kennel.
So are you saying up to 2 hours then, or are you saying each and every time so she could have 3 or 4 times in a day? What are you saying?
I don't think she's going to abuse this.
I don't think she's
We're
going to
gonna have
abuse
the
it either.
fattest
but-
kennel dogs. They won't be able to.
Right
shoot
now
for the day.
she's saying that
Somebody
she does
in
it
town
twice
is
a day,
feeding
so
them
it's
secretly in
two.
the night.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious. Can't get this dog to not have diarrhea. Like we were doing good. And then I'd find weird dog food and
Maybe
pizza
they would
crusts and a paper
That's what-
plate.
that's what she said.
It's a TMI, too much information.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a motion, don't we?
Let's get going. We've been on this for a while. So what I have right now is Brett proposes to pay 1 hour to Aspen when she comes to tend an animal in the kennel.
Yes.
Let's change that to the dog catcher, not Aspen. So whenever Aspen is no longer dog catcher, we're gonna have to go through this again. That's just my
Should have been
suggestion.
already, really, since we did it before.
Does it have to be amended to say that?
No.
Okay.
Good enough.
Seconded by Annie. Those in favor? Good. It
Thank
passes.
God.
Never got a cell phone out of that. Heard everything.
Okay, let's move on.
And then somebody's feeding him
Okay,
his poop.
Clay.
Hello. So this one, it's in reference to junk vehicle, but actually it's something bigger than that. So about a week ago or thereabouts, Wabunsee County Sheriff's Office called us. They had brought one. It's sitting out in front of 305 South Cedar. I went over, checked it out. It's absolutely inoperable. The engine and transmission are inside the vehicle, so I mean, literally inside. You can see it. And it's a couple years, 3 years out of registration as well. So by any way you slice it, it's a junk vehicle. Went and found who it was. Went and interviewed the previous owner because there's a tag on it. So long story short, they sold it, but they made the mistake of not removing the tag. So whoever, when it got towed from wherever it got towed before, they took it to the last known address, and that's why it sits out there. So that's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm dealing with the sheriff's office, but it points out that we don't have a way to get rid of that vehicle because we don't have a tow service. So I just wanted to toss it out there. It's something that you guys consider, whatever. But I don't know how often that happens. If it's been something that you've needed tows in the past, I'm guessing
I
it
think
is.
we've actually towed something that we shouldn't have towed before.
Oh, nice.
A vehicle.
On Main
Sure, we
Street.
do that all the time. Something that we shouldn't do. Well, yeah. The trick is that what you need to do is find your end location. I mean, is a junkyard going to take it? Because I understand some are hesitant or will refuse a vehicle without a title.
They all will. You have to have a title.
Yeah.
Unless they're 35 years old or more.
So you're really impounding it for the owner.
My dad.
You're not
Yeah.
destroying
No,
it.
I know.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Which makes it difficult if the owner, and it's depends on where it's located. Is this on somebody's property?
It's sitting out on the city street.
Well, and then but it was taken there because they think that the owner is that person.
Yeah, which they are not. But again,
That's fun.
Oh no, it was like, whoa.
Well, I mean, if it's on the city street, it really technically isn't a junk vehicle because, a junk vehicle on a piece of private property. It's in the public way. It's parked illegally. It can be towed and impounded, but it just leads us right back to the problem.
Right.
In fact, we don't have an owner for it. And if the
You
junkyard
can
won't
apply
take
for a
it-
lost title. The city could apply for a lost title, get a lost title, and then you'd be able to take it to the junkyard.
I was gonna say, that's what we did.
But it is a process. Meanwhile, it's going to have to be sitting at least probably 30 days at the city lot before you would be able to take it in.
But shoving that
But we
Is
do
it
have
at
a
the city lot
trailer,
right now,
and we
or-
do have a truck.
It's
So we
sitting in
could
front
do
of
both
305
those
South
things.
Cedar.
so it hasn't moved.
It hadn't
from-
moved.
Okay.
I put a tag on it, notice, bright orange notice. But that's as far as
Yeah.
that's as far as we
Well, I
go.
think
Does
you
it have a
could-
headlight broke out?
No. It doesn't have a grill. It's got issues. Lots and lots and lots of issues.
Well, my guess is that the owner's not gonna relent, not gonna do anything. You need to try to get the issuance of a title so that you can have somebody pick it up and then junk it. And I suppose arguably that you could still charge the person who shows up on the title. Does he show up as a title owner? I'm assuming since they brought it back.
I'm guessing. I mean, again, I haven't seen the title, but they have, according, they sold it. Now they may have a record of that. He didn't provide it at the time when I was speaking with him, but they may have a record of their sale.
$300 for a vehicle now, is that?
Depends on how much it weighs. Yeah, more, less.
So,
He'll make
so this
money
vehicle
on it.
supposedly is sold.
Yeah, like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
He's
and wouldn't Wabunsee County have a record of that sale? Or unless
if they didn't register it,
they didn't
They
register it.
obviously didn't.
Yeah.
Still has the old tax.
and that's the issue. I think that's where we.
Well,
Lesson
Would-
learned by them.
would Wabunsee would the vehicle department up there at the courthouse in Wabunsee County be sending these people a statement that's current that they have on record as the owner?
Not if you're not driving it.
No, but it's registered to somebody and they sold it. So
Yeah,
if the people that bought it, if the people that didn't, if the people that bought it didn't go and register it, as far as the county knows, it's still owned by the people that
It's parked in front of.
it's parked in front of. So that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't the county be sending those people a bill every year that they have to register? I got a bill says I got to register my cars by the end of April 30th.
No, if you haven't registered a vehicle in a few years, they'll
I
stop.
think
sending
it
to
drops
you.
off. Is
If
what
it's
I think.
uninsured,
Because my Harley hasn't been registered in a couple of years because it's been in storage because I've been working
they
on it.
have to be keeping
I don't
track
even know
of
if
tons
Okay.
of.
All right. Well, I didn't know that. I thought they would always
or my
get them.
55 or the 90 or the 75. They're just kind of sitting.
So
Don't tell Clayton that. He'll tell me.
They're dads.
Oh, never mind.
They're in a barn in a
Okay,
pasture.
so
I will talk with the county to see if there's any detail there, but I'm guessing there isn't.
okay, so if we apply for a lost title, does that become the city's?
I would think so.
Okay, and then so at that point we can have it hauled down to the maintenance lot.
Why would we have to keep it for 30 days after we get that title?
It might take you that long to get that title.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying.
So
You could get
once
it,
we
you-
get the title, we
You
get rid
get
of
lucky and get it the same
Well,
day.
my point is that do we
Well,
get
can we tow it to the city
can we tow it
lot?
to the city lot now? That's the
Well,
question.
yeah, well, I mean, that's dangerous because then what happens if you don't get it? You don't get the title.
Then
You're stuck with it.
Tell my
It's better at the
neighbors
lot or
about
the
it,
better at
Junker.
the road. Yeah, it's better at the city lot than you have to.
They like to work at night.
You still have to get towed. You have to pay to get towed.
Well, honestly, the people that have it in front of their house have young kids. I think it slows traffic down where it is. I think where it is.
until we get the title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And once we get the title, we take it to the city lot and then we can take it to the junkyard and get $300 for it or whatever its weight
Skip
is.
one of those steps. Once we get the title, we take it to the junkyard.
Why don't we get rid of the other junk that's down there at the maintenance at the same time?
Irrelevant. I still don't see any reason to move the vehicle from where it is to the city lot.
Well, that brings up another question. If they never registered it in their name, so it's still titled in the original owner's name, why don't we just get a
A bill of
reissue
sale
of
or
the title, reissue of the title in the original owner's name, and then we can do whatever we want.
So if it gets in his name, then you really wanted them to transfer it to us.
And then we scrap it.
Yeah.
Which costs, how much does it cost for offhand? $20. And it's about the same to transfer a title.
It might be $14. I don't know. I mean, there is a cost, but it's not.
So we just have him get it reissued to himself. If it's still titled in his name, then we get it transferred to us and we dispose of it and make our money.
It must still be in his name if it led you to him.
Well, if they tracked it by the plate's going to be tracked in his name.
Well, you're
But if they
right.
looked it up by the VIN, then the VIN would be registered to whoever it's registered to if they transferred it.
And I'm guessing because I tried to get a hold of the officer that dealt with this. He hasn't returned the call yet. So there's a
You might want to do a VIN search.
I'm guessing it was the tag that they did it on. I doubt he did the VIN. So that may be a different set of information.
Well, let's see if there's an easy way to get the title out of the guy that lives in that house.
Well, the actual owner is now out on Wakarusa. Yeah, the about a mile and a half east, south side of the road. So, but anyway,
if he transferred it into his name. If he hasn't, then he's just out.
So I'll get some more information, but that's bigger picture. That's to consider is, when we have this kind of stuff that comes up, how do we want to deal with tows? Do we want to go to, whoever deals with like an Alma maybe and say, hey, you want to sign you up to be
We've got local,
Eskridge?
we've got local people that
Yeah,
like the money.
somebody, I'm sure.
Do you know who that is?
Mhm.
You want to share it?
Well, one of them I think would be Gary Kimball. I know another one would be my
Willing
son.
to
He'd haul
tow
it in.
stuff.
He has a tow truck.
He's got a trailer he can pull winch it up on.
My neighbors are scrappers.
We have a trailer
There's scrappers
for the
everywhere.
city.
No, I don't know him.
We have
That's
a
why I'm
trailer
asking.
and a truck.
Oh, I can
That's
run
the-
over there. They can take it out.
Our
That
son
reminds
can
me,
do
I want
it
to
tomorrow.
buy that old truck trailer that's in the city check. Because I might be able to use that. for
Okay,
the
is that good?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's not beat a dead
I'll get
horse.
some more information and I'll come back, but
We're so good
we'll
at
talk about it.
Thank you.
And do you get phone calls as well, like Aspen does, from people that do
I do.
things? And
I do.
should we consider a phone for him as well?
I've been wanting to consider one for him and Robin as well. Because there's a ton of people that contact Robin too from the lake, constantly wanting.
And do we have your
There's more activity out there.
public
than
officer
here.
information on the website right now? I don't
Mm-mm.
recall
I don't
seeing
think-
it, but
I don't believe that in any of those. I put Aspen's up there after it was requested, but I don't believe theirs is up there.
Yeah.
I can do it.
okay. So just put his and Robin's on there as well. Is she on there yet?
No, neither one of them are on there. But do you, until we have phone numbers for them, I'm not going to put their personal numbers.
No,
up
no,
there,
no,
right?
do,
Okay.
no, don't do that.
Aspen's is
We
not
can
her
put
personal
city hall
numbers.
numbers on them until we get phone numbers for them.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Then she can relate notes in your boxes or whatever.
Perfect.
So what about the phone for Robin and Blake? I think we ought to consider that the same way we did Aspen.
If we're getting 3 phones with 3 plans, you got to be able to group them together to get a good deal. So, I mean, if you're getting 3, sometimes they'll throw in a phone for free, and I mean, I don't know.
Maybe you ought to do a motion to have the city clerk determine plans for 3 different phones and options. Bring it back to you. I know it's going to delay things
But not terribly. 2 weeks.
All right, since we're hitting all 3, I guess. Yeah, I moved to.
Do what Todd said.
We can trim that up. But what about the rest of these conversations?
I will second that, but we need to let Aspen know that we've changed our mind. We're not doing what we said we were going to do when she was here.
We're still going to do it. It's just going to take a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion was made by Annie to have Kelly look into acquiring 3 phones for public officers
and report back.
Seconded by Brett. Those in favor? Okay. That passes 5 to nothing.
You didn't even give us the option for further discussion.
I did not. If you have further discussion, I'll entertain it now. You
It's
voted for it.
irrelevant now.
Well, you voted for it.
I think there's a minimum on this is the problem. They're gonna not keep dropping
Let's
it
move
down.
on.
Did you see the email?
Next up is the rug proposal by Airmark. If I'm reading this right, they want $210. Is that right?
For what?
That's a replacement charge.
If they got a new rugs or what?
So the contract that they're offering now, they have a minimum $30 bi-weekly. So we would be paying that for just a rug.
So $60 a month, and they show up once every 2 weeks to give us a clean one, right? $60 a month. And can anybody tell me if it would be wise to pay that $60 a month, or would we be wise to buy our own rugs
What's your opinion, Kelly?
and reuse them every so often?
I would suggest we just buy our rug.
Okay.
And
I have a nice
vacuum it.
vacuum
I have a
cleaner.
new, yes, I do. I have a really nice vacuum cleaner.
They have really nice black ones that are really big at Menards. They're like 14.
Sam
I
Club
just
has
vacuum
really
at the
nice
library
ones,
and they're
too.
really not that bad. I mean, other than like it's trapped around the door more than anything.
The ones that I get from
So I
Sam's
say,
Club last
let's say bye-bye to
for a
them.
long time, months and months and months. You take them outside,
And
you
you're
hose
okay
them
with
off,
that?
hose them off.
Okay. I move to decline the Airmark rug proposal and purchase our own rug for up to, I don't know.
$50.
I don't think it's $50.
Are you getting one or two?
How many rugs do you have?
One, it's
We
just
just-
the one long one
I'd
with
say
in front of the door.
$25.
I don't think they're that cheap. for
I
that.
haven't said anything to Mike yet about the contract with Airmark in the jeans, so they're gonna have to turn the jeans in that they have. Those are rented,
Okay.
which we're gonna be talking about that
Sounds like
in
we need to sort that out.
continuing council business.
I don't know. Have we looked at rug price?
That's Sam's.
Cheaper than that? All right.
I guarantee you that we can get a big like black one that's like commercial at Menards for like less than $20. They're not
Like the
nice
hallway rugs that are rolled down the hallway. 20
Yeah.
foot.
20 foot.
Well, it's 20 foot, isn't it? Between here and the front door? Or here in the copy machine, do we have
Hang
a
on.
rug?
Google's in work.
Commercial.
The current one is 3 by
Lock it,
10.
Knock it off.
3 by 10?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mm,
3 by 10. Good hot in here, everybody.
I say, okay, up to $50.
There we go.
Fix that.
I'll second it.
Mike,
Good. Thank you.
Second, just second.
Michelle second?
Yes, I did. Let's move.
She's ready to roll.
Hey.
Repeat the motion, please, Kelly.
Annie moved to decline the proposal with Aramark and purchase a new rug, spending up to $50. Michelle second.
Okay, and is there any further discussion on that? Those in favor? That passes 5-0. Okay, next up, under continuing council business. Dolly Mercer requested a camper on her property, and we're to refer to ordinance 572. That is in our packet. Ordinance 572.
And I don't see why there shouldn't be any leniency granted to her. We give it to other people all the time.
Agreed.
Well, I had some suggestions on maybe you could improve that ordinance. You know, depending on life circumstances for different people, they have different reasons. We're gonna be able to hook ours up to, when we get it, to sewer and water. And so you might have people come in and at least approach the council and say, hey, we need to have a camper for a few months because of a reason. And then that way Clayton could go out and check and make sure they have room for it. And then and then they would talk to them about what they would do with their sewer and water, things like that.
Do you have the copy of the ordinance, Dolly?
No, I do not.
We should probably get you a copy of the ordinance.
Okay.
But it's in there for you to come here and, with the provision that we can give you the allowance for the time that you need for that. So I don't mind doing that. That's what she's coming here and asking for. So I so move.
Second.
Did she apply for it? Did she apply according to ordinance?
It says it.
They already paid
30
that?
day.
I don't know.
No, I came to get.
Yeah,
see if I was gonna
We
get
have to leave, we have to leave it and we
I
can.
think she
Well,
came
hold-
before
good
the
question.
time that
Hang
they
on.
to apply.
There's a $30 application fee, so I've been, showing you already got to be paid. It needs to be paid with.
Can I borrow $30? Come on, man.
Well, and I don't think she's doing it at this specific moment.
No.
She's just wanting to know that we're going to give it to her when the camper gets purchased and they're moving in.
Yeah, because they don't even have the camper yet.
Oh, you just, okay, when the camper comes in, then this will be submitted. An application and,
No.
and the
Yeah.
$30 fee, and that's approved at that time.
Okay. Then we'll have a big party.
Okay, so that's the motion.
Oh, so
Okay,
you already seconded, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, if I'm reading 572 correctly, the temporary use cannot exceed 30 days. So you're wanting to do this?
There'll be an extension on that.
And we've given that before. Like I said, we've
They just did 6 months.
Yeah.
Conditional time period. We can
Right.
always do 6 months and then add, I think,
and we've
We've
done
done it.
even longer than that.
2 or 3 times nowadays.
You know, that's
Last.
one of the things about the ordinance that we have. Sometimes they don't fit situation or life happenings. We have a lot of property out there and plenty of room to do what I wish to do for the reason I want to do it. Doesn't make sense for me to build a tiny home and spend thousands of dollars on something that probably won't get used. And so,
Well, right, because I think they plan on eventually moving into that house, right?
yeah. When there's one, yeah.
Nope, we haven't voted yet, but it's been moved and seconded.
Soon time.
Okay, so we have a motion.
By Brett
Okay.
and
Two.
seconded by Jason.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion by Jason.
Oh, seconded by him. I thought I heard.
No, you're good.
And peach trees and cherry trees.
We're all.
We're just keeping it going.
It's like it's Monday.
Plant some trees.
Okay, we have a motion by Brett to accept an application when the time comes. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And seconded by Michelle. Those in favor. Any further discussion? First of all,
No.
nothing. Those in favor. Okay, we do it again. Is that correct? All right, 5-0 approved. Get your application in, Dolly. It's going to be approved.
Okay. See you tomorrow, Kelly.
All righty.
Okay,
I
next up.
wouldn't do it till you're ready. That way your time doesn't start. Till
I want to I want the kids to move it.
Dig.
You know, I want them to.
Okay, next up is the ordinance 582, vacant commercial buildings.
So last time we were here, I just told everybody I wrote a summary of this because there was a lot of like, if this, then $100. If that, then $50. Then continued on. So I thought in this way we could maybe take a crack at like what works for this and what doesn't. I also feel like it's kind of convoluted and hard to keep up with the fees for whoever's clerk.
I agree. And so before you say anything else, just to see how this pans out, I'm gonna move to not do 582 ordinance number 582 anymore. At least not currently this time. Just to see if I can get a second.
I do think it needs to be workshopped in some fashion and, you know, more ideas for what we could do to improve downtown without feeling like we're constantly punishing the business owners. The whole reason we created this, and this is partly for Jason since he wasn't on council at the time, was because we have no method to push building owners to clean up their property, unlike residential buildings. So we can tell them, clean it up or we'll clean it up for you. We had nothing on the books for the commercial district. But this one actually causes them to register each year for $100. Then they need to provide us with insurance, which I think is a good idea. Obviously, we would like buildings insured, but honestly, the condition that most of them are in, they probably are uninsurable. So I'm not sure that's even a reasonable claim at this point.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I do understand that. I couldn't get insurance for my house on Main Street, not a commercial, but just for a hole in my roof. So I know the insurance companies are being very picky. And then we had some requirements for the owners, which I put in the middle. it does say that we can go in the buildings, but there is like an issue with access. Like we can't just go in without having the owner opening the buildings for us. I didn't really have any issues with that other than can we get in the buildings and actually do that? Because
Well, the technical reason is there's questions about right of entry.
Right.
I mean, you know, as a practical matter, understood that we may not be able to get in there now because people just won't let us.
Yeah.
But
Not
there's
to
no-
interrupt you, Todd, but why don't you check with Burlingame and see what they do? They actually are able to go into buildings that are in disrepair. And so they must have something in their ordinance or something.
well, and
But
that's what
they
this
do
does.
have a lot of vacant buildings.
And they
So
tear down
they're
buildings
not
too, though.
forcing somebody to do something with a property that they own. They're not telling somebody what to do with their own property. I think
Yeah,
that's the
actually they
difference.
do.
They make incentives and other things.
I'm not sure exactly what they do, but I do think they have people in the town that are actually making efforts to use the buildings.
Yeah, their fire chief is
So
the building inspector that works
Yeah,
with the
and I'm
council.
not saying that we can't do that. I'm saying we don't have anything set up
The only
to do
reason
that
that
at
I'm
this point
pushing on
anyway.
this is I have a building next to me that's that he will not, that has been off, people want to buy it but he wants too much for it. I mean,
Right. And that's why
and-
we're talking about it.
I know, and I just want you to know.
We
that
agree
I
with you.
have, I have a little something in this, you know, I
Yes.
spent a lot of money on my building, so.
We're not disagreeing, and I'm not totally throwing this in the trash. I would like to have something to do this. And then the failure to register section is kind of like, if there's a fine per month if they don't register, there's a fine if they don't insure, there's a fine if per quarter if the building's empty, and then after that it's another like $500 per year fine. So I feel like it just gets kind of complicated for Kelly and for the business owners. I don't know the best option here, but I do think it needs a lot more research so that we can find some kind of method. For
I have a
this.
question too, Todd.
So it might be. Did you have your? Sorry.
Well, I was gonna comment there, and you said more research. I was gonna offer that I'd be willing to do that, to contact, and Burlingame was actually one that I thought about.
Okay.
There are several others as well that I think we could glean some information on how they handle it, because there's obviously some successes.
There's a couple towns, and there's
Yeah.
what was that one? I cannot remember. They're like a big success story. Like they put a business in every building, and
So
it's more of a group effort.
if you guys are okay with that, I'll go contact 3, 4, 5.
We love any
cities around
volunteers
and
for
get the
research.
information.
Not volunteer.
So if you
I know they're
Man.
volunteer.
in this district, can we also adopt one for residential as well and hold people accountable for their houses?
We-
in the shape that
we
we're
do
looking
that.
as well as
We
Well,
created
there's-
this because we
do.
didn't have it.
You already do. I mean, it's just
we
different
don't
format.
require insurance, we don't require inspections, we don't do any of that with residential
Well, that's what,
property.
well,
We
I
don't
mean,
do
there's,
any of
yeah,
that.
I don't know
no,
that you.
with that difference, yeah. You take nuisance and dilapidated structures. I've never seen outside of commercial context somebody demanding actual insurance.
I mean, if you're gonna do it for one owner of something, why not for all of them?
Well, I think the argument that I would make in this sense is it's a business and a commercial district, and therefore the city has an interest in developing a zoned area that is responsive to that requirement, meaning, and nobody can operate a business usually without insurance. You could likely, if you don't have a mortgage, I think you can live in a home without insurance. Not wise, perhaps, but
You're just assuming all the risk yourself.
yeah. And I don't know.
I just don't see how you can go after one and not the other. You
Um,
can't play fair.
well, I mean,
Are you talking
Well-
about residential and
Yeah.
commercial?
well, that's what I'm
No, I was
saying.
just asking if you can do this to residential people, can we turn around and do an ordinance for
Commercial,
commercial
if you
people?
have a
Can you do it for
commercial
residential
area-
people too?
and you have dilapidated buildings like this, that affects my business.
Oh, I'm totally aware about buildings affecting your business when you own
Thank
neighboring
you.
walls.
I know. with-
Totally aware of that.
Yeah,
Um,
and you're one of the main blockers of tearing down that building all this time.
I am, because
Yeah.
where's the city gonna have the money to repair the sides of the buildings to make sure that
All
my
right.
building-
So I absolutely agree with both of you.
Yeah, I'll stop.
And I
I'm
would
sorry.
really love to actually start moving in a forward direction, because at this point I feel like we're going to argue. And yes, I'm agreeing with you, Brett. This does not work as it's written now. We need to workshop it. I don't know about taking it out completely. Would you advise that or just leave it be?
Yeah,
for
what
now?
I would say
We're
is
not
if
really
you guys,
following it. But.
if you guys want to, I mean, I've got the Word version of this. Have at it. I'll tell you if you walk off the deep end on anything, but frankly, just as long as you stay within the boundaries of reasonableness, you guys have a lot of room to play here.
But we
You wanna
shouldn't
send
be
it to
having
Clayton
something
as
that
well,
we're
so
not.
you can see what we have.
So your motion right now is to suspend the enforcement of this ordinance
Because it
Yes.
affects him.
pending. So I will second
How
that.
does it affect me?
You have a.
Does it affect you?
Your father
Public
has a
comments?
building on there.
It could
Oh,
affect.
All right, hold on.
I,
Right,
I
we
would
have-
like to know if you are cooperating with the Brownfield project and trying to do what is right and help your city and help your building, why should we have this going on and be penalized?
Well, correct. That's why we're bringing it back up again. Because
If
obviously
we-
we didn't follow it.
If we rescind this ordinance as it's written, if we rescind it, then nobody's gonna get charged $100. Nobody's gonna get charged penalties. Nobody's gonna get charged anything at this point. And yes, the city is working with Brownfield to improve the downtown area. We have, I think, 4 businesses that are 4 out of the 13 that originally signed up to do anything. 9 of them dropped out for personal reasons, I guess. I don't know why they did, but we are working with them, and we are down to 4. I think Dolly's one of them that we're down
We are
to,
too.
and you're one of them, and I think
So are
Brett's
my
one of them.
parents. As you
Well,
pointed
no,
and trying to
out.
get some things
wasn't this
done.
ordinance set up that to encourage people to do something or sell the building? But
Yes,
if they're
yes.
working on it like she is, then she wouldn't.
Well,
wouldn't have to-
it's more of a fine-based ordinance, so it does push. So I did throw down some other proposals since nobody else has. I suggested maybe a downtown coalition. I know you guys are working together on that Brownfield, but I know not everybody's in that group anymore, especially, but something like where business owners kind of have their own self-motivation to start and maybe we help in a way like grant research or grant writing, that kind of
would be nice,
thing.
'cause I'm lousy at grants.
I absolutely get that. If I had all the time in the world, I would be writing 5 million grants for this town. I would love it.
I need to throw a comment in
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Yes.
Benji, since you jumped into the conversation, I have had concerned people call me and ask me. I'm sure that you're aware that the north side of your building is bulging and it looks like it's getting ready to fall in the street.
It's tilting in instead of tilting out. It's an optical illusion. If you go up on the top, it's going.
I've stood on the street and looked straight up it, so it's quite an illusion. Then, either way,
We have asked the contractor and we have called him multiple times asking him to go up and buckle it for us.
Okay.
It has not happened yet. We called him last week again and it has not happened.
what people have asked me is what you're doing about it. So
Okay.
now it's on record. We know.
We have called multiple times and contractors are hard to get sometimes to get.
Oh, I'm aware.
done.
I'm aware.
So
Especially when you have an older building and they're
Yes.
very few and far between. I
Right.
understand that completely. Yes.
Rock and stone and brick is hard to
Yes.
work with.
And not cheap. So I do think this is more of a workshop scenario. So
I do
all
too.
that aside, we can table this or we can.
I still move to suspend it until we.
You guys still
We
have a
haven't
motion.
been acting
That's
on
fine.
it anyway. What's the point of bothering to suspend it? We're
Because
suspending
it's
something
still
we don't
there,
even
and
do.
it's something that we have on our books that we should be doing that we're not doing, and I don't like that.
I agree with Brett. We need to rescind it or,
It's not gonna hurt anyone.
yeah.
Suspend it while we rework it.
Suspend enforcement.
Right.
Suspend the enforcement that we do.
And you had
Hell, I second
seconded.
Currently
Okay, so
enforced.
we have a motion and a second.
A motion made to suspend the enforcement of ordinance number 582 by Brett, seconded by Jason. The discussion part is that means that a workshop needs to be planned. Which would, of course, would involve the community as well.
I don't want to schedule one yet because I would rather Clay do some research
yeah,
first. So
yeah,
yeah,
we
I'm
don't need
okay
to
waiting
schedule
on that. Obviously not
So-
forgetting it, but
We need a vote. Those in favor? Those opposed?
I guess I'm opposed.
Okay, the suspension of ordinance 582 is in effect. It passes 4-0, or 4-1, I'm sorry. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to continue working with Brownfield to get those 4 businesses involved, which could lead to grants availability for them as well, for those that need that help.
When you rework this, are citizens allowed on this committee?
Yeah, that would be, if we have a work sessions are public. So yeah, that would be.
And you accept public comment?
Yeah.
Certainly.
I would love that.
It's a workshop, not a meeting.
I would love any ideas that you guys have to do this better.
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, I think we can finish this dog one. Say again what you needed changed or what we
Talking
didn't
about
do.
the next thing is the keeping of pit bulls.
Where is the ordinance? Let me see.
It's right after and then
It's in the folder, Brett.
Yeah, I had a copy that I
Oh,
Xed a bunch of stuff off of
oh,
that.
sorry.
No, I'll just read it. And we can go through it really quickly.
Okay, Brett, go ahead.
Most of the changes that I took out of this is on the second page, so everybody follows there. So, right there where it's B and then small b. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
The muzzle. I'm scratching the muzzle part of this ordinance. The confined indoors, enclosure, locked pen, kennel except for leashed, muzzle, blah blah blah. Scratching that out. But everything else, I wish I could find one. Basically, what I'm wanting to keep in here is the limit of 2 and the sterilization for them. I'm taking out the insurance off of there. Not requiring them to maintain insurance. Because Aspen was right, there was a lot of frivolous, dumb things in there.
And Kelly should have given you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say
mine.
Aspen has notes. She basically says to take it all out except for maybe subsection F, ID photographs applicable to all dogs.
My dogs are very photogenic. Just saying.
I don't see subsection. What am I see B.
It's
She just basically said.
So read Aspen's one looking.
She said the entire section should be repealed as it pertains to pit bull dogs. This section was written with the belief that the pit bull breed and only the pit bull breed is an inherently vicious breed. We all know this to be factually inaccurate. I don't feel our community has reason to restrict one breed. I would, however, like to make subsection F ID photographs applicable to all dogs. I don't even see that subsection. Am I blind? Where is it?
Is this the ordinance? I don't have a copy of a signed.
And see, this is
ordinance.
where I disagree because we just allowed pit bulls to
It was
be
rescinded, I thought.
in the town in
Previously.
6 months. One person got
It
bit by a
was
pit bull and the
rescinded,
pit bull's
and
already
what
been
you-
put down.
What
This pit bull
you're
out
given
here, if
is
it
what you
would have
guys
been
know
microchipped and
before.
neutered, it would have
We
been
just
fighting with
wanted
other
to
dogs,
revisit
and we'd have the
this.
money from that right now. Kind of basically like it's not the mediation or whatever, that not going from one extreme of having these rules against them and getting rid of them completely and keeping them and molding together from other communities that have still put provisions in it, but they accept people to now have them. Correct.
I was asked if the pit bull been because he was a pit bull or if because there was a reason it was choose, and any dog would have.
Well, and
been-
we have a vicious dog ordinance, but if you get attacked by a rat terrier,
Right,
it's
right.
much more severe than if you got attacked from a pit bull. I mean,
Or a German
Is that so?
vicious
or a
dogs
rat
are different
terrier.
pertaining to what the
Right.
breed is.
Yeah.
It's done that a couple times.
So, and we do
Chihuahua
know
would
that
be worse.
pit bulls are by how you raise them mostly. They can turn on and off. There's been studies.
I don't know what he
That's why it originated. They were.
Okay, so you're okay with them microchipping is what you're saying? I'm rolling through this really quickly. Microchip, yes?
Yes,
2 pit bull limit.
yes. And the sterilization.
To sterilize. Okay. So no
Are
breeding.
you microchipping all dogs?
Nope.
Just the chicks? All right, good. 'Cause
I would love to, but I don't feel like I'd have the support from that.
No.
We
Well, I've got
currently
pictures and all
only
kinds of
have
stuff.
2 registered pit bulls in town.
Okay, so this is saying that they also need to
Is that
provide
dog
documentation
outside
they were
there? Because
spayed
that's a
neutered.
bulldog terrier, which is on the list of
That is
what
an
are.
American bulldog, and I don't think that is on the list. And he is being adopted outside of town, so.
Did they raise this?
And he's
You're
actually
saying they don't need to be muzzled.
That was so.
So it actually says the definition of a pit bull to us means bull terrier breed of dog, Staffordshire Terrier, American pit, American Staffordshire Terrier. So bull terrier, American bull terrier.
So an American bull
Staffordshire
dog
bull
would be an
terrier.
American bull terrier.
Yes. So in the definition here, the definition of our ordinance in the pit bull breeds covers those dogs, all of those in one, and encompasses them as the.
And
So
according to that, we only have 2 registered pit bulls here in town.
but we have many more. We almost had a breeding house going up Lake Hill for months that had them in the kennels.
Really?
Remember,
Little bit
behind
illegal.
Lee Stevenson's right in front of your house.
It was for
Yeah.
Yes,
fighting
that
purposes.
was 3 pit bulls, 2 boxers. One of those pit bulls is the one that we adopted out that subsequently attacked.
Isn't that more of a
Right.
criminal thing than a?
And we did have a black one that was posted on Eskridge Watch the other day that I think belongs to the Yates. There's another one that goes down there as
Like I
well.
said, there's only 2 registered
Right.
pit bulls in
But
town.
there are many, many others.
There is another dog that is registered,
What else are we changing on this?
but not as a pit bull.
Because I just got the muzzle thing and then.
Yeah, I don't think that they need to be muzzled, and I don't think that you need to require insurance for them either. But I mean, everything else here, I mean, all structures used to confine a pit bull must be locked with a key or combination. That doesn't need to be in there. But when it talks about the structures having a secure bottom floor attached, all of that, that should stay. It stays for everything else that all other animals that we have, we require that for as well. It's just restating it.
We don't require that for all other dogs. They
We don't
have-
require that they have structures
It
erected.
does not have to have a roof, and it does not have to have locks.
Well, that's good to know because we should revisit that then. Because it should, I mean,
Nope.
your animal should have a shelter. You're
exactly.
against a dog having a shelter when it's 0 degrees outside?
You mean 24/7 being inside
Yes.
something like that?
Yes.
Hell no.
Well, no,
My dog thinks she's a pit bull, but she runs around the yard and there's no roof on my yard.
the roof on the
But she
a
has
dog
a
pen
roof in
doesn't
your house.
necessarily mean.
I thought you meant at all times.
For
No,
pit bulls,
no.
is what he's saying.
A place to go when it's cold and.
My mistake.
Shelter.
I apologize.
Yeah.
This
shelter.
says if you're at all times, they have to be in a
If they're an outside dog.
if they are a pit outside.
If they're a pit bull, but not
I
if
don't
they're an
see-
outside
Oh.
dog.
So they.
See the
can't
roof
be
on
in
this.
your house
No, they cannot be like tethered in the yard. They can't
or in
be
a fenced in yard or anything.
Nope. Nope.
Hmm.
They can't even be in your house with your screened windows open.
No,
According to this.
we took that part out. That part is being taken out of.
I don't. This doesn't say a roof on it
No,
either.
actually,
Such structure must have a secure bottom and floor attached to the side of the pen, and the sides of the pen must be embedded in the ground no less than 18 inches. Does not list a roof. It does say confined indoors or in a securely enclosed and locked pen or kennel, which we can take the lock apart.
If you're gonna dissect it, I think that you make sure that you say that the dog has adequate shelter, but not that the dog, an outdoor dog in a kennel doesn't need to have a roof on top of the kennel. They can have a dog house
It
inside
doesn't
there,
say it has
so
a
they
roof.
get out of the weather.
I
So
think you
that's my
misunderstood.
point, is
I
you
think
wanna
so.
put these
hope
rules
so.
specifically for pit bulls, but we already have guidelines for just dogs, all encompassing dogs. And my point simply is, why are we singling out pit bulls with all?
I thought we
Like
did
I
away with
said,
the
it
pit
was a
bull business anyway.
Basically, we allowed pit bulls,
We
but
did,
then
didn't
we've
we?
added this.
And we
Correct.
started this ordinance and we never came back to it, and then it was adopted for the ducks, and I didn't realize
I
that
think
we
we
never
just
came back
alter
to it. Nobody brought it back up again, but it was tabled to be
Ducks
readdressed.
are dangerous.
Then, no, we allow ducks now. We allow ducks now.
Yeah.
But this was a happy medium of, I don't know, is it litigating? Like, what is it? I don't know.
Doesn't make
Having two sides molding together into
Mediation.
a mediation. There we go.
Mediation.
A mediation
of
happened.
polarity.
Recognizing both sides of what it is. And I mean, do you want to continue to be a problem that is proven in the world of overbreeding of pit bulls and the problem that they have when you can't even adopt them out of anywhere? I mean, you can barely
No,
place dogs,
I
and it's
agree.
specific to that breed.
And that's
So,
why I put that
do you want to be
our
a help to the
city
problem or a deterrent or
doesn't,
whatever?
I feel like our town doesn't need to single out pit bulls. Like, we do not have a pit bull problem here in Eskridge. We have a dog problem
Yeah.
We certainly
all around. But
Well, I will say this does not say it has to.
But
have
when
a-
we do
a
have a
roof.
pit bull problem, then what do we do? I mean, this is preventing it to happen. I mean,
I mean, I would like to put a lot of problems with the dogs that have nothing to do with their breeds. You know what I mean? I don't understand the point of just putting all of these regulations on pit bulls.
I agree. There's too much for two dogs in this town.
And like you said, there are more, but right now they're not registered. We have to get them registered.
I think we
and
all
then-
came to the conclusion the first time we had this discussion about pit bulls, that the reason pit bulls are vicious is because they're trained that way from birth by their owners. And so we changed it from a pit bull ordinance to a vicious dog ordinance, because
Exactly.
any dog could be vicious.
well, right,
So
but I
that's
don't believe
what
that.
my
It's not just how they're
proposal was.
trained.
We always
They
had a
can
vicious
snap
dog
on a
ordinance.
dime,
Yes.
whether they're in a great loving home or not. That's where you're inaccurate.
Actually,
Is
the
that-
reason pit bulls are a big deal is because of the bite strength of their jaw, and that's it.
Well, their body formation
Right.
as well is specifically designed
For
So
leverage.
It's not
to
about
leverage their
temperament,
jaw
is what I'm trying to say.
So-
Yeah.
It's a different.
And like I've said before,
'Cause they
I'm
can
a
cause
person who rescues animals. I've rescued
Right.
tons of pit bulls in my life. I've been around them, had them, housed them. I still feel the way that I do. I think it's responsible to set rules and boundaries with this and not to get rid of
So
it
why
completely.
just pit bulls, or why are we not revisiting these regulations for all dogs?
Well, you're more than welcome to bring up the other dogs and revisit this. This is what I brought to the table to revise. We can absolutely do that with the other ones as
Well,
well.
and that's what, like, that's why my recommendation was to just get rid of the specific stuff to pit bulls. And just leave the vicious dog ordinance the way it is. And that covers all dogs. If you have a pit bull, a chihuahua, whatever, and it attacks someone
But
or goes after
that
someone.
logic of thinking to me is you're equating a chihuahua to a pit bull, and there is a complete and utter difference to it.
Chihuahuas are way more violent.
Yeah, they will be fighting the crap out of you
My
I
point
mean,
for no
is,
reason.
Do you want to put your child
being
in a
attacked by
pit
a
with
dog
a pit
is
bull?
being
or
I don't know if
attacked
that's the
by
right
a dog.
question.
That's not a
Ask
good
you.
question to ask. My kids have played with pit
If
bulls
it's
for
puppy
years.
mills, that's
So
Probably the most-
what I
the
would
most-
rather get into.
And Rottweilers. And probably the most violent dogs my kids were ever around is a former military police Malinois. And,
German Shepherds are no joke.
and I have two huge German Shepherds who are the biggest puppies in the planet. So it's not I disagree that there's a breed specific problem necessarily. I think if we have a vicious dog, then we handle the vicious dog as a vicious dog. And if we need to revisit some things in the vicious dog ordinance that may be more appropriate, then we should do that. But I don't think we need a separate ordinance for a specific breed.
Thank you.
Council, could I add something to the story of the dog that bit the person? The day that the dog was out and there was residents that were going back and they were afraid of the dog, so they started yelling at the dog. And his response was to attack. And this is what the residents told me. Now, because the residents were on the street last week and there was a dog that wasn't a what was he? He looked more like, well, he looked like a cross between a pit and something else. He was a friendly dog, wagging his tail and everything. He was going to go down to the residents. The residents started yelling and screaming at him, and then he immediately bristled up. And I went out and told him to go home, because I didn't know who he belonged to, but I hoped he had a home. And he left, but they were coming at him, and I think that's why that boy got bit. But either way, they did destroy the dog because he went through a bad circumstance and he didn't recover from it, being all locked up like that. But yeah, it was very unfortunate.
And so that makes me, do we have ordinances protecting dogs from abuse? I mean, I haven't ever read any of it. Okay.
Well, we have a vicious dog ordinance currently and in effect. I don't see the point in spending a lot of time dealing with two pit bulls that we have in town.
I think you're wrong, and I bring up the regular dog ordinance and about, breeding licenses. If you're going to breed in town, you need to pay a breeding license or have your dog spayed and neutered. I was doing it this way. I mean, I automatically know how he's going to get his dog spayed or neutered, or he's going to buck it. He said it at one of the meetings. So, but I'll bring it up again.
Okay.
So are we gonna move on then? Is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Yes, somebody I want to talk about.
Being responsible human. If you can't say that, I can't explain it any other way.
Okay, next up, clothing allowance. We talked about this last week or the last meeting. I don't know if anybody did any research on uniforms.
Not as much as I would like, sorry.
Yeah, we can table it again, but
I'd like him to
we
get
are
the jackets for the winter so that we know who they are and how to identify them, because you can see them.
Is that something you researched and found for us, Brett?
And it's something that comes to the city in the mail. That's how I got it.
Okay.
What did we spend on there, Mark? Blue jeans. I know I've asked you, and I'm so sorry that I'm asking you again.
What's the question?
Sorry,
What did we spend on Airmark jeans?
Annually, we spend $1,875.12.
Yeah, it's in your packet,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Last page.
pretty much. Yeah, last page.
That's for both.
Yeah.
So this covers 11 pairs of jeans, and then anytime that they ruin the jeans, they're replaced for free. I mean, for free, but per their contract.
I personally haven't bought a pair of jeans in who knows how long because I'm too tight to go buy them.
When I did
I
just
let my family have their clothes and their shoes and their things, and I do without because all the junk I wear is good enough for me. I could care less what people think about what I wear. That's not saying the same thing for people that work for the city. So who knows what a pair of jeans cost? As an example, just for a pair of jeans. Who's bought any lately?
$20 to $100.
Yeah.
I'm seeing 30 minimum. Yeah,
For work pants, that's probably not a bad price. $30 to $50.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're talking $200 per person, that's only 4 pairs of jeans. That's kind of a paltry replacement,
But
in my
that's
opinion.
that's every year.
Yes.
So if you get $200 and you need to replace a pair of jeans or maybe two, you're still living up. My suggestion would be to add 100 every other year for boot replacement.
Exactly.
We don't make them wear boots. They don't wear boots.
Well, and you can always do this as a stipend that they get to choose what they spend it on. Like
They should. I brought that up, but
Which
they
could be
pointed
boots.
out we have no
Well,
rules to
anytime.
stipulate it. So we
We need
need to
to
do a little more
discuss this
Crocs.
other than just buying a pair of pants.
I mean, Crocs cost what, $50? Boots are like 200.
Yeah.
They're gonna
But
wear
I
gloves.
understand what Jason is saying, fully understand that, and understand what Annie's saying. I don't think $200 is sufficient, because that's gonna buy 4 pair of jeans. But if you bump it up every other year, so that they can buy other things, I think they should have safety shoes of some sort, especially in the summer when they're mowing.
But we can't do anything about that until it's in our ordinance. or
That's right,
manual.
that's right. We have to, that's why this is on the agenda, so we can talk about it, and maybe somehow we've got to come to a conclusion that a clothing allowance is needed, and what's included in the clothing allowance, and they have to buy it, and they maintain it throughout the year. You know, and do they wear shirts? We don't require them to wear shirts of all things, but that should be a requirement. You don't want them running around just in a pair of shorts and tennis shoes, no socks, no shirt.
We have them.
Where you want them
wearing no shirts
identifiable.
mowing the grass.
Then we need to stop it, is what I'm saying. We've already made adjustments for the summer months. They can come in early so they're not out in the hot sun, you know, getting burnt.
Focus on this then. And
But
what
the
would be
clothing
allowable
allowance,
now?
but the clothing allowance, we need to come up with a consensus of what we should pay them every year for a clothing allowance, and require that they wear pants. At a minimum, wear pants. They should at a minimum wear a sleeved t-shirt, not one that's been cut off and full of holes and your belly button showing, as an example. And we should require them in certain cases to wear shoes that are safety minded, especially when they're mowing. We don't want to cut their feet off if we can prevent it. Okay. So if you think $50 is a fair price for currently for a fair price for work jeans, that's great. Now the question is, I was saying $200 every 6 months, but that's $400 a year.
Joe would buy his jeans down at Blue Stem, and they're really good jeans. And so if you could check that.
Okay.
The whole reason they started the clothing thing is the guys would get battery acids on their jeans and stuff.
Right.
And
Which
so
has
the
happened.
city would replace them, and then they just built that in.
Right. Yeah, but $1,800 a year for rental.
No.
That
was crazy.
that is outlandish.
Yeah, when they were doing that, the guys didn't want that. They wanted the jeans. But
And I understand that, and I understand the need to buy them for them.
replacement, yeah.
You know, but if we give them a clothing
I don't
allowance,
understand
you know
the
what?
need to buy them for them.
You know,
Even as a server, I had to buy my own non-slip shoes and uniform at my own cost. I'm getting paid $2.27 an hour. Like, I don't understand why we have to buy their jeans, buy their shoes, buy their jacket, buy anything. I mean, they go to work. My employer doesn't buy my clothes to come to work? Do any of your employers buy your clothes to
Yeah.
work?
Mine did.
Yes, my employer charges
Your
me.
employer again.
They're Norla Ford. Charges me
A lot
every
more
2
money
weeks.
than the city of
This
Eskridge
is
or
true.
Norla Ford has.
But
a
I
lot
pay-
more money than the
So
city of
I pay
Eskridge.
money every 2 weeks.
It's an equivalent type position
Yeah.
where you ruin your clothes, basically. So they pay a
Yeah.
service to take care
There's
of
a
that.
machine
So their employees don't look terrible.
There's a machine shop and a fabrication shop where I work. You get $100, no more than $100 a year for steel toe boots. And those guys, their jeans are caked in grease, and they wear them again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. They bought their own jeans.
And your place probably is a place that has more money than the city of
We're
Eskridge.
contracted by the post office.
But are they out in public?
That's the same
too?
badge you do.
Probably, I mean, the post office is actually pretty lax on their labor jobs. You
There are
wear
some
your
people-
wearing
No
jeans.
Crocs.
So.
But they also got
the rest
clothing
of their
allowance.
clothing. Do you get
I got a clothing.
office clothing?
Yeah.
Dad got a
We don't get a clothing
$300 boot allowance each year. Didn't cover his boots,
Yeah, right.
but
we get $100
it's
that
a-
doesn't cover your
it's a
boots.
stipend. It's not like it's supposed to cover
Well,
the whole thing.
if we're going to require certain things like boots, steel-toed boots, if we're going to require it, or shirts, and we're going to provide them, then we should pay for them.
I don't disagree. I think this is not out of line, and it's a service they've been getting this whole time for
And-
a long time.
And if you don't want to require them to wear steel-toed boots when they're doing hazardous work, then don't give them anything. Make them buy their own clothes, but don't expect them to be looking sharp and looking nice when out in public. You know, they are representing the city as well when they're out there.
They're maintenance guys
Yes.
representing the city.
Yeah.
I put that first.
We used to have shirts that said Eskridge on them.
Yeah.
And we buy them for them. We buy them the Eskridge shirts.
Yeah.
Why aren't they wearing them then?
I don't think we bought them for how long now?
It's just been
They stopped
3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, we bought a bunch of
But they
shirts.
kept the
If I
jeans.
was doing heavy work in a
You're doing
shirt, the
maintenance in a
3 years
t-shirt.
is
That shirt
dead.
ain't less than that long.
Dairy Queen murdered my shirts in a
They're
year.
nice shirts though. I think they only wear them at certain occasions.
Yeah.
Like when they go to the water meetings.
There's a lot of machines right
The shirts,
here.
the
so
shirts
they
that we
love
bought
them.
them are not every day wear them and go dig a hole or, you know, change the oil on the truck.
I'm not sure
or
they
whatever.
still have them at this point. 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
I would be okay with like a 300 a year, and maybe we bump
That
that.
seems excessive.
It's still
Well, you need more
much
than
less
100
than
jeans a
this.
week, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that doesn't
I
even
think we came to
cover
the conclusion
the
the
full
contract we
11.
had, we were getting screwed. But I still think $300 is excessive.
Well, what's a number you'll approve?
I think the $200 a year with a $100 bonus every other year to replace footwear.
Don't call it a bonus.
Or
Call it
a stipend, $100 stipend, an extra $100 stipend
for footwear that we don't even require them to have. Like I said, Crocs don't cost that much.
But they shouldn't be wearing Crocs in their job.
And
we don't currently pay for
That's a
boots.
lawsuit waiting.
So
We
if
don't
we're,
currently
I'm just
pay
saying,
for
if,
boots.
what I'm trying to say here is if you want to require a certain kind of footwear to be covered, then we need to have something in our handbook that talks about clothing allowance.
And we could just say appropriate safety wear.
And that covers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So including footwear.
And if you give them $200 and $100 every other year, then they could buy a winter coat if they wanted to, because they're outdoors all the time.
Looking at meters and stuff.
It gives them a little leeway to get what they actually need.
Looking at
Yeah.
the water plant.
Maybe
Without
Brett,
really costing us
maybe
an
when
excessive
Brett's not a
amount.
councilman, he'll become the city employee so he can get all these goodies. But out in the real world, they pay for that stuff.
They do.
I
There's
just told
few
you I
places-
got paid $2.27 an hour. I had to buy my own
Yeah.
shoes, my
Well,
own uniforms. I had to wash them. It
And
was
whose fault?
greasy, it
And
was
whose
nasty,
fault
it
is
was-
that? Whose fault is that?
It's your fault
Yours.
for being
It-
too
it-
generous.
No, it's
There's
your,
not a
your,
whole lot of places that pay for the clothing of the employees.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
That's
there's a
not
whole lot of.
Sorry, you
I don't
have your
understand
opinion.
that
That's
at all.
fine.
It's not
Every
people
dealer
pay
pays
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if
that
your
before.
logo's on it, they're paying for it.
So like
Yeah.
all three dealerships that I've worked at bought, but I paid for the cleaning.
So you're talking car dealerships.
Yes.
And
We
many
go to the Air
maintenance
Force. I've
facilities.
got the Air Force clothing allowance pulled up right now.
It's not. It's
The Air Force is different.
It's a
than the
huge-
city
yes,
municipality of Eskridge.
Yes.
You can't
Post
force them to
office is
wear
not a good
anything.
comparison
It's
to
not
the city
either.
of Eskridge either.
Let's find out what the other cities are doing.
Yes.
Do they pay for their employees' clothing?
I bet they
Do
do.
they give their employees
All
stipend?
right. Let's
And
table,
let's check with the
the
other
clothing
cities
allowance
minus
discussion until the
Alma.
April.
Why minus
And not
Alma? It's a
Topeka,
comparable
Auburn, or
neighbor.
Silver
It's not
Lake,
comparable.
little
Like I
podunk
said, if you
towns.
want to
like
table
that.
it, it's
Let's
comparable
table it to
Alma.
the
They don't
May
need to act like
6th,
Alma.
You're
May
looking at the
13th
document.
meeting.
Can you
We don't
ask around if
hire
anybody has like
senior
rules and
maintenance
responsibilities for
contractors.
city manager?
That really.
City manager?
Yep.
So if we're gonna
Yeah, they have that
Alma,
many.
No, I think the city employees, I get city manager.
Ugh.
All right.
Service.
Let's agree to disagree for tonight, and let's do a little research. Everybody on their own, do some research on any way they want to, and let's talk about this at the May 13th meeting. That's 30 days.
I have to be here then too.
If you want paid.
You get sick again. It was fun.
This is not worth the money. I do it for more than the money. I'll tell you that.
Semi-volunteer is what they call it.
Mhm.
Are we in agreement to table this discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was innocent.
May 13th. I'll look into it as well.
We might also even ask the guys if they want to have to wear safety toe boots.
Just jeans.
I think
mean-
they work electrical, and I don't think it's recommended for that situation.
It depends
But
on
I
the
do
food.
think
get
non-slip
carbon
shoes are
Non-slip
appropriate
sole
for the
shoes.
water plant.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Steel toe is not the only option. I'm sorry.
That's something we can talk about, guys.
That was just a-
Everything.
yeah,
you know, hopefully.
let's-
All right. Next
Yeah,
thing,
email
I've
her.
requested law enforcement be on the agenda. Only thing I want to suggest on that is that we consider putting a 1% city sales tax question on the ballot in November to see if the public is interested in acquiring that for the purposes of law enforcement.
You might need to research that because I'm not sure that we can add another one or not. Do you
What,
know that already?
another percent? I know I
Yeah.
called the county and asked them what we had to do, and they said you had until.
That's the ballot. You're talking, there's two different questions. One being, do you have enough time to pass the ordinance and do everything you need to do to get it on?
And Terry, that isn't gonna cover a full-time city cop.
And I didn't say a thing about a full-time city cop. We were proposed last meeting that we could get one for $30,000 a year, and 1% would cover that. And it would also cover the equipment that we'd have to buy for that.
Well, I don't know if it'd cover the equipment
Yeah,
because a
yeah,
1% sales tax for us right
What
now
was
has
the
been
second question,
generating
Todd?
about 33,000 a year for our
Oh,
sidewalk.
you
posts.
can go.
So if it's more than 33,000, I'd like to know where you're getting the numbers.
Okay, all right.
That's right.
I think we're getting more than 33,000 sales tax, but anyway.
Well, I've kept pretty up on it over the years. So if you think you're right, prove me
I
wrong.
didn't say I was right.
You know,
Can we let Todd,
Questioning
can we
it.
Let
let
Todd finish
can
his
we let Todd
sentence.
finish?
The number one thing is the timing that you have until the election, that you have to get everything done, published and put on the ballot. So you do have a timing there. The second thing is, I think you're talking about, which is a different thing, which is there's a percentage limit
Right.
that can be invoked on behalf of the municipality. I do not know what that is in this circumstance. But that
I'm
could
just
be-
curious genuinely
yeah.
because we have one already, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, what's the amount now? The
It's-
first,
Our sidewalks one is 1%, and I'm not sure what else is on there.
well, yeah,
Sales
but
tax wise.
you guys wouldn't have any.
That's the only sales tax we got.
Okay.
Yeah, so it probably fits.
But the deadline for getting it to the county to put on the ballot is September 3rd. So the action has to be taken now if we have to propose it, post it in the newspaper or whatever.
Yeah, get the language of the ballot measure in place. Yeah, you have to do all that. I mean, I got the forms. If you want me to give it to Kelly to map out for you, you can. It's not.
Kelly, do you have time in your busy day? to
Well,
do
you
something
already,
like that?
you guys already did it for the other one. It was a
Yes,
special.
yes, I got the
Another
copy of it
special.
right here.
So if you just look back and see what we did on the last
For
one,
the last
yeah,
1%.
it's the same
Okay.
procedure.
You said the deadline was the 30th or the 3rd?
The 3rd of September.
That
That's
is
to get it on the ballot, but that's not
Right.
to do what he's
Yeah,
saying.
I
You
understand.
got, so you gotta start now.
Right.
And what this one here said, just for those who wants to know about this 1% that we got, shall a retailer sales tax the amount of 1% be levied in the city of Eskridge, Kansas for the special purposes of providing an adequate level of public services within the city, including funds for curb, sidewalk, streetscape, and park improvements and repairs as may be in the best interest of the city, to take effect April 1st, 2020 and be limited to the term of 10 years. And the vote on that was
It passed over 80%. If that's what
80,
you're looking for.
81 yes and 42 no. So it's not 80%, but 81.
So you change
You got that
language
80,
to say
right?
for law enforcement purposes.
Yes, we would change the
So it says
language.
the term of
Yep.
10 years, and that's it.
Well, it is a
Oh, you can
presidential
have this
election.
if you
so we'll
like.
get
Yeah,
more.
I got it specifically for your benefit,
Thank
but without
I
telling
I just
you.
expected it to be hard. I mean, I don't know.
Oh no, that's
I'm just
fine
gonna give
for
you the whole
us.
package. You can destroy.
I know when I'm waiting in line, I'm
what
like,
you want, but I knew that the sales tax.
It's not
was
our
more
last
than what we-
Wow.
county seat or council
Yeah,
seats
you can
election. I
just
think it's
go
about
with it.
50 to 60 votes was
Okay.
to decide.
So keep that in mind. We'll talk about it at the next meeting as well,
I think I had
until we
60
resolve what we're gonna do on that.
75 is probably the.
All right, moving on. Next thing, we're done with everything except the 20-minute executive session.
I didn't wait 2.5 hours to be forgotten, Derek.
Well, I saw you back there. I didn't see your
Yeah,
name on
remember
the
we
agenda.
talked, oh, maybe not. It's been a few days.
We were talking today on the thread, so
Yeah.
we know.
You want to give us a couple of minutes of,
I do, very quickly. Okay. So I don't know where I'm supposed to be on this or whatever. Eskridge Housing Authority. Just wanted to give you guys an update, tell you kind of what we're doing. There are 4 of us currently active. Brett Campbell and Becky Frank are co-chairs. Lisa Cernich is an at-large member. I'm the spokesperson and secretary. We've met twice this year. Our next meeting is July 9th at 4 here. We are working on a mission statement, and we have that pretty much put together. We just finalize it, approve it, and I don't know if we're supposed to let Todd see it or what, but okay.
All you.
Cool.
Go to it.
Okay. Next month is researching and gathering resources, and then we would like to, for professional services to get those resources, be on the city's website at some point. We basically wrote a little bit of the mission statement is that we're dedicated to improving the lives of citizens and future citizens by successfully providing decent, safe, secure, and affordable housing and living environments. And that our first goal will be, well, our main goals will be putting applicants, participants, and tenants first, market competitiveness, and fiscal strength and integrity in the city of Eskridge. Any questions? No. That's pretty much it.
okay, I don't see any reason why they can't put some kind of blurb on our website.
Well, just tell me what you want on there and council tells me it's okay and I will do it.
All right. I'll wait until the mission statement's done because I think that's quite important
Yeah.
to have on there. So.
All right.
Okay, I can't make the motion for this. Somebody else has to.
Somebody remember how?
You guys, I have
Working
your
on it.
cheat sheets.
Yes.
Nobody has their cheat sheets.
I have a cheat sheet.
All right. Hold on.
Okay, what's the 20-minute?
Yep.
The motion to go
You
into a
want-
20-minute
you wanna make it-
executive
wanna make
session
it-
for non-elected
wanna make it
personnel.
15?
I'll second it.
Well, this is the, you want 15 or you want 20? 15?
I think 15 should be
Okay, what's for
sufficient
I
personnel?
redact my 20 minutes and say
for
15.
non-elected personnel.
And I'll second it still.
Will we?
Are you gonna
Okay.
make any decisions or anything?
Words, no.
Let's just go. Let's go. You're just too late.
Be careful.
Not even the age he's.
Don't take it the wrong way. It was a fun 2 hours. It's
Yeah.
gonna go
All right,
home.
Did you take a walk? Did you?
Is
You better vote.
this your
No vote.
jacket on?
We got it.
Oh,
We got
yeah,
it.
first
Finish
read
the
it.
actual
And as I
motion.
turn around, I forgot my clock. So thank you, Clay.
Motion's been made. It's been seconded. 15 minutes. Non-elected personnel.
I wanted to
Start
talk to you
at
guys.
9:15 and end at 9:30. 9:17 and at 9:32.
Yeah.
To return here at this location. It's been done.
So we turn the camera.
With the attorney present
Yes, with the attorney present.
for personnel matters to discuss the personnel of the city.
Could we make it more complicated?
And that's the rule.
Yeah.
Chris Kobach, second.
I move that we change the rule.
Dr. Chris Kobach.
And you said we don't have to vote on it?
No, you have to vote on it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, those in favor? Those opposed?
Okay. Start
And
now.
those not here to vote? Okay. As soon as,
As soon as the camera goes up, we're on.
Kelly, let me give you this stuff. I can give it to you afterwards. That's fine.
What do you want us to do with our binders? Just take the papers
I'll
off?
be here. I'll be, as long as you guys aren't gonna keep extending, I'll be here in 15
No.
minutes. But yes, you can take all your stuff out.
Okay.
Put it in, do whatever you want with them.
All right.
Camera.
She's getting there. I wish she did this year.
I know.
The November was fine.